morning, it's 9 o'clock. Could you please stand and join us for the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. We've not got full chairs today, so do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Monday, July 7th meeting as written?
So moved.
Been moved by Barker, seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to proclaim July 20th through the 26th, 2025 as Coffee County Week in recognition of the 170th anniversary of the founding of Coffee County and in honor of its enduring legacy, its people, and its place in the history of the state of Kansas.
A second.
Been moved by Peterson, seconded by Ebendraw. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
You guys want to sign that now, or we can?
Not gonna do that now.
Yeah, you'll need to, everybody needs to sign second page too.
Okay. Go ahead with this next motion. A motion to appoint Chanda Copeland, is that correct? To fill an unexpired term for Leroy Township Treasurer.
I will make that motion. I'll second it.
Been moved by Peterson, seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So, is River City here? I don't see anybody.
Everybody but River City.
So, I guess we'll move on to Housing Authority Director Rhonda Gilbert and USD 244 Superintendent Craig Marshall, Drainage Ditch Study. Good morning.
Good morning. Would you like a copy of the survey? I do have it. If you like it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
So it looks like, honestly, I'm not an engineer, but it looks like the drawings, the thought process is to go along the west boundary and then along the south boundary if that water was to be changed, altered the
Right,
flow.
getting it from going catty corner so you could open up more building spots.
When you say south boundary, that's on the north side of Martindale Street.
The inlet and the outlet would be the same as far as affecting any neighbors or anything, any other properties. It's just going to be altering the course on that tract of land, correct? Right.
Have you guys given a copy of this to the city so they can review it since it is their ditch? Dan, are you aware of anything?
No, we have not sent it to the city yet. We wanted to see if we can get bids that's even going to be feasible before we go. The next step will be, if we get the bids in, we'll say, okay, here's the bid, here's the plan, this is what we want to do, and,
There's just been very basic conversations with
Yeah.
the cities.
I mean, I can't say they don't know about it, but I'm just saying that it hasn't been ran through them, because, yes, this will be our next step.
Okay, perfect.
So, I don't know how detailed all these plans are. What's the, like the amount of dirt there or whatever, are you gonna be able to take enough out of this to fill the other areas, or will you need more dirt?
That's the
In the north
idea
part.
of it, they said. Plus, you know, when we start building, we'll have even more, and then plus, I think the high school might have a little bit of a dirt pile too. I mean, I don't know, but.
Yeah. So, and I guess, you know, in my mind, thinking this ditch could be broadened a little bit, or to make a little more dirt, if you needed more dirt, fill dirt, but, I mean, obviously, I'm not the engineer. California would do it.
I think that the key thing now is to find out what the cost is gonna be to make the drainage right, and obviously, we wanna make sure the drainage is right for the city. The city obviously has to sign off on the plan, and then that way,
Have you got any idea what the cost might be?
The bids are coming in today. This is our last day for bids, so no, I don't know.
How are you planning on paying for it?
Well, the survey that is here, that is, what you guys have agreed to. And then, once we get the bids in, then we see if it's even doable. Then we will have to discuss, I'm going to school board meeting tonight to discuss what our next step would be for paying for it. This is gonna be 6 new houses, potentially, you know, on this block.
Bless you.
We got it.
I've got a bad effect on this.
A cotton's getting me.
Yeah.
So what was the total cost of the survey?
The total cost, we have the invoices, I've paid the $1,200 just to get this part, but to get the full plans and everything, we still have to pay the $6,800. You guys said that you would pay $4, and then we would come up with the additional $4, however we're gonna do it.
we've had a discussion, you know, again, this is, of course, per our board, I mean, our board would, you know, have to make some, you said that there's some shovel grant money that has been discussed, and Rhonda asked that. There's also the potential, do we pay for the other part of this? Again, depending upon what we get for bids coming in to fix the drainage problem, we could probably talk to the city and have discussions with them, because the city would benefit in perpetuity with taxes. Hopefully, they would be, you know, interested in helping, you know, with this project. We just see this as a combined joint type project in some way, shape, or form, city, county, to get some houses, 6 houses at least built in that area. So we still, as Rhonda said, we still have some moving parts here, waiting on the bids from today, and to find out that dollar amount. Is it $6,000 to fix the drainage problem? Is it $60,000? I mean, we just don't know. We need to know. And then after that, we will know more. And then when I get on the city's agenda at some point in time to discuss with them. And our board, obviously, tonight, we'll have some discussions about this tonight in anticipation of moving forward.
Okay. So you don't have any thoughts for any action or anything from us at this point? You're still in discovery?
Support. I think it's a good project to look into. I mean, we all are in agreement that housing is definitely an issue, and 6 ain't enough, but it's a start.
Yeah.
So,
What is it you're saying that we owe on this study?
is it half of the 8,000?
Half of the 8,000 is what you agreed upon.
Yes.
So that total bill was 8,000 and you paid 1,200 of it?
I just paid $1,200 to get this, because I knew you'd wanna see something, and
Okay.
then to get the real plans
The
and
full
everything,
setup.
yeah, then I
Gotcha.
paid the additional.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's why it's so small. That's what they give me.
8,000 total.
Yeah,
8,000 total, and our agreement was to pay half of that, is that,
That's what you made the motion and
right, right.
Right, to get this.
Okay.
approved it.
Sometimes my memory lapses.
No, that day you guys have a lot of things to cover, and it's good to remind and
Yeah.
review, so probably it's probably gonna be, I'm guessing, a return meeting in the next
Yeah,
week or 2
yeah,
weeks.
let you know when the
Once
bid.
we, after the bid, but I think
Yeah.
Rhonda was wanting just to have a follow-up, because I think you guys had some questions, potentially, some thoughts or information on this, but
Very good.
is there anything else?
Do you
No,
want
this-
that today, Rhonda?
Whenever you can get it, I mean, you know, yeah, whenever.
I'll see if it's
Yeah.
special issue.
So, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
So the long-range plan,
I knew
who would be the developer or whatever? You know, we kind of learned a little bit about that from our north property.
That's a conversation Rhonda and I have had, and it would obviously, our board obviously has, because it's the land the board owns, they would have to sign off on this, but I think there's there's a variety of different things that could happen, in my opinion, and these are just possibilities, nothing definitive, but do we work with the housing authority with that land in terms of development of that land? Do we put that land up for bid? Does the board could actually, dispose of the land however it wants. I say dispose, that's not the right term, but that's the technical term. They could,
Right.
they could sell the land to whomever.
Because
they local.
this is the school's property, is that correct?
Correct.
So,
Currently, the school owns the property, the rec center is mowing the property, but
Right.
they use it for practices and things like that. They don't use it for that anymore since we have our turf fields. So they're really mowing it, and they would really like to not have to mow it anymore, Scott and Trevor.
So I'm curious, why would you not sell it for, I mean, why wouldn't the school sell it? Just for simplification?
Good question, and here's the deal. What we don't want to have, and what my board feels very strongly about, they don't want somebody to buy it and sit on it for 50 years.
Right.
We
Right.
want to get the building done, so the housing authority, if the housing authority were to work with this property, they are going to make sure that houses get built there. If we were to sell it to an individual, it would be my recommendation to our board to say, put in the contract that all 6 lots have to be built on and developed within 3 years, or whatever
Whatever,
that
right.
magic number is.
That's-
Because those, and then if whatever lots aren't sold, there would be an agreed upon price on if it's $10,000 a lot, $15,000 a lot, whatever. That if those lots that aren't developed within that 3-year, that time frame, whatever, that they would be sold back to the school district at 50 cents of the cost that they were sold. So if the incentive is to get those lots built.
And I realize you're
Right,
still
right.
in discussion, I was just curious if,
Because that's what we don't want to see either, is you want to see something happen.
something happened to that property.
Correct. So Steve, that's a really good question, but we just want to see the land get built on in a timely manner.
Sure.
We don't want all 6 lots to be built and developed in 6 months, that's not a fair time frame.
No.
But we think 3 years, those lots should be built on, and houses should be functioning on those, and built and have families in there within a 3-year time frame. I think is a fair time frame. And the builder's gonna wanna get them built sooner than, in my opinion, sooner than later, because they'll realize the
Right.
profit on
Right.
those houses.
Yeah. You just don't want them to get into buying it as an investment for the future.
I'm thinking that with this, you should have 3 entities that you're dealing with. And you haven't started really with the city owners talking, but we're always seeing them get hit with money. There should be a third if you're talking and things like that, even if it's feasible, just not us.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in the city limits, so they need to be a part of this.
And then,
Absolutely.
and then another thing is, as far as the neighbors surrounding that area, I mean, you want to make sure that, you want to make sure that whatever goes in there is, that the neighborhood is comfortable with that.
Need to deal with all stakeholders in this.
There's going to
and
be
that
some
part.
more houses
Yeah,
as to what is in that neighborhood.
Okay, right. That's equivalent, I mean, because I think that's a pretty nice neighborhood right around. Yeah.
single-family homes.
Right,
is the plan.
Family, yeah.
Right, to maintain that.
Good questions, good comments.
I don't, I'm good.
Anybody else have anything
I
for
don't
now?
see anything until they come back with bids to see even
Well-
if this is a possible feasibility.
Right.
Well,
Right.
and that's right, and that's where it's gotta come from, and then, communication with the city and everything.
So the total cost of the improvements of this, are you guys wanting to put the assessments back against these lots, or how are we gonna recoup any cost for this?
That's what probably we have to have a discussion with the board, and, you know, and see. I mean, we don't know until we get the bid back, because if it's too much, we're just gonna, you know, stop at that point.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, there's a lot of variables right
Yeah.
now until you get.
But that's something we have to discuss, like, would that be an option, is that how we wanna go about it, or however?
And your meeting is tonight, is that?
Our board meeting's tonight, and we should have bids today by, hopefully there will be
It's
bids
just being by 11, so.
by 11, so. Like I said, we'll probably be back in the next week or 2 weeks for more information, get on the city council's agenda,
Very good.
and then our board meeting tonight, so. Hopefully we'll get this going, because, I mean, if this is a real possibility, we say, we need help, guys, we're struggling, hire new teachers and it's a real problem, guys. I've had one teacher turn me down, part of it was housing,
Right.
and, for a job offer. Wanting to start a family, young couple, moving here, and wanting to start a family, and they looked at the housing. That was one part of the equation. There were other parts, but that was a big part, guys, housing. I'm not telling you anything I haven't told you, I told Stan, people in the city council, but it's and it's only gonna get harder to hire teachers, hire staff, so.
Fred, that's been a problem that's been going on since the 80s and 90s. I dealt with it as a teacher myself, trying to
But
live in
even-
Mulvane and couldn't find a house there and had to live in Derby.
Yeah.
So,
But even a bigger problem now, as teacher shortage is an issue. So anyway, it was a problem, it's always been a problem, but it's even a bigger problem now, so.
Well, this definitely has the potential to be good for the community. I mean, you got 6 houses, you got property tax established, you got water revenue, sewer, electric revenue.
Right.
Kids in school, sales tax
Location.
from people going to the stores. I mean, this is, potentially has a good impact on the community, so.
And the location is a real desirable location, in my opinion, close to the rec center, close to the schools, in a very nice neighborhood. This is a lot of win-win-win, guys.
Hopefully everybody can get together and work out a deal to support this and
Yeah,
make it happen.
great.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Road and Bridge Superintendent Ryan Burrs, Department update. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Good, how are you, Ryan?
Good. I just had one call out this weekend for tree down around 22nd Dewberry. We got that off the road. A few motions today. I think we set up our CP2s maybe already.
Yeah, got one, at least one on here. Motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the CP2 payroll notice for Hunter Riley, light equipment operator, highway, new hire, wage classification 30-01, with a wage of $19.93, effective 7/14/2025. I so move.
Second.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the CP2 payroll notice for Gavin Conkle, light equipment operator, highway, new hire, wage classification 30-01, with a wage of $19.93, effective 7/14/2025.
So moved.
A second.
Been moved by Avondroth, seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion?
yeah, are these new positions, or are they?
So these are, we're filling up, we had 2 voids on our asphalt crew, so both these positions are filling the 2 vacancies that we had on that crew.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Alright, thank you. Next is this agreement, maintenance agreement with Lebo on the lake roads, so just some past history there. Every so often, Lebo would request that or if we could help out and maintain them roads, and so we would come and get commission approval, then we'd go back and we would maintain or take care of what they needed. Sometimes that would require gravel, and they would reimburse that material cost, and so just through discussion, with the board a while back, we agreed that, look forward to just getting an agreement in place. So this is what we've come up with. And so basically, it's just gonna take out I'm not gonna have to come and ask permission. We're maintaining the roads anyway. So our responsibility would be, the two roads, and so any maintenance, blading, re-graveling, if there's a couple crossroad culverts that they would ever need to be replaced, that would be a part of it. Snow removal, one thing the city will continue doing is mowing, because they mow the lake area, so they're gonna go ahead and continue mowing there, and then, they will reimburse any material cost for the culverts or gravel, like they've always done.
So it is within the city limits, is it?
The lake portion is the city limits. I mean, the roads, most of it's actually in the county. There's some in the city, some in the county. They're kind of curved on that west road, so.
But you started doing this last year, correct?
Oh, we've been maintaining, for 10 years.
But as far as the city paying for the gravel and everything.
Yeah, and they've done that for, I can think twice in 8 years that we've gone up there, and we've spread substantial amounts of gravel, and the city has reimbursed us for the material cost.
The last time I was there, they're in pretty good shape now, aren't they?
They're not bad. They need some work. They do need some work. It's not really an inconvenience. We maintain that road north of the cemetery already, and both sides of a quarter mile from both sides of those roads. So we go by there anyway.
Okay.
You're talking, a couple less than half-mile sections of road, so it's not time consuming. Not an inconvenience for the county to do it. So, I know the city. I don't believe they have a maintainer anymore, or nobody to run a maintainer. I think they got rid of it. I don't know.
And that's what you said last year when.
Yeah.
Or whenever it was brought.
Yeah. And so with that, I do have a motion to enter into this agreement.
I have that one.
You don't have that, okay.
I would like to actually see the agreement.
Okay, I'm sorry, I sent,
I don't think I've seen it.
see if I got a copy.
Lebo Lake Roads Agreement, is
Yeah.
that the one? Okay, let me press this off real quick.
Okay. Just want me to go through it?
Oh, well, I'm printing
Okay.
it, I'm sorry, I'll press that. We missed that, I'm sorry.
If you guys want to review this doesn't have to be done today.
I was gonna say, essentially, the
Yeah.
agreement, in the past, you said you'd come to the commission to do a lot of that work.
Yes.
So basically, the agreement will make it so you can just
Yeah,
maintain.
no, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm comfortable.
And that's fine. We'll get you a copy of the agreement.
You do want to wait a week and just sign it next week?
Yeah,
Yeah, you look at it.
that's
If
fine.
you got any questions, we can answer that.
Next week? Yeah, that's fine.
Look at it.
Nope, that's fine.
He sent it to me in advance.
Okay, okay.
It's similar to the agreement that the county has with Osage County. Well, I guess it's not Osage County, it's the township up on the county line where on one side or the other on the county line, the county's responsible.
Certain roads we're responsible for, certain roads they're responsible for, so yeah.
Similar type of.
Okay.
So, no, this agreement here is something Keith Browning helped me come up with, and, yeah, we can,
Sorry about that. I'm trying to. Lost his email when under something.
so yeah, I'll just come back next week and give you guys a chance to review that, and we'll just do the
Okay.
motion next week.
Okay.
Be
Sorry
fine.
about that, Ryan.
No, that's all right.
Very good.
Not a have to get done
No.
today type deal.
No, I think they've got, what you told me, they were gonna probably deal with this at their board, at their meeting in September, I think, so we've got, some time for sure. The courthouse asphalt work, I mean, they got the asphalt laid, there's still a little bit of concrete work at this north entrance. I think hopefully the end of the week or the first part of next week, they'll look at doing that. Approach out there, I think there's one little repair on a piece of curb that they cracked, they're gonna do that. And then the striping on these parking stalls, the city will take care of striping those. I think they'll be doing the crosswalks around the school here before school sometime, probably 3 weeks, they said. But they said they just go ahead and strike that over there when they're out and about, so they'll help out there. That's really about it. Do have a meeting with FEMA today, just working through some of that last flood stuff, and we sent them a bunch of information last week, bunch of photos, and, we still don't know if it's gonna qualify, but they're doing their initial, getting information with the counties, and, we'll keep moving forward with that, and get the information they need, and see where that goes.
But sure won't get it if you don't apply.
No, that's it.
Yep, so
That's it, so,
appreciate the effort.
yep. That's what I had for today. You guys have anything for me?
How's the turn lane projects going?
It's coming, they got the asphalt done. You probably saw there north of town, so they still got the, approaches on those entrances, and that sidewalk still to do, and, some dirt work approaches up to that new asphalt. But getting that asphalt in will be a big help with the traffic congestion up there. I think it'll limit having to shut down to one lane as much, so. But yeah, that's gonna be really nice north of town. Very nice improvement. Get that done and just.
That part of the project, should it be done by the end of the week, or do you think? Or may go longer?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should be close to a week. I know they're gonna run into, obviously working with Dollar General, we can't shut that down, so they're gonna, have to figure out how to probably do like half of that or overnight, especially because those are some concrete to redo on some of those, so they're probably gonna have to pour half and let it cure out and then do the other half, so yeah, it's probably longer than a week, but.
Look like the asphalt's done out there at 8th and the road going by Quail.
Yeah, I think they're done south of town.
Yeah.
Done south of town, so.
There was some rock up against it and stuff.
Yeah.
Looks like that.
They should be, starting the next one north, which would be 14th Road, turning lane there, going east, and then they'll move up to 15th, and be both sides, and then 22nd Road would be the last one, so.
Okay.
So.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, they're a nice improvement, so. All right, well, appreciate it.
Thanks,
Ryan. Yep, have a good week.
Anyone want to take a break? Or good to move on? No, I guess we can move on to Coffee County Concepts revolving loan fund request.
Okay, and did we need that to be an executive session?
Yeah, I would
That's
request
what they were-
executive session, so our presentation is gonna include, some discussion on trade secrets, processes, manufacturing processes.
Sure.
Not readily available to the public, as well as our personal financials.
Okay. Do we have enough room up here? Do it up here, I suppose, across the hall? I guess we would, wouldn't we?
Can we do it in here?
I do have a PowerPoint presentation to give. Can we support that in here?
Okay. Yeah, that would be, well, do we need to get that set up before we decide when we're going in then?
Probably, to make sure technology's
Make
working.
sure everything wants to work today. Sometimes that takes a few minutes.
Yep, I understand that.
And then I had, copies of your guys' application and business plan, I know you guys got those.
You might wanna wait to hand
Yeah.
that out.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Do we need to set up the technology?
We're doing that in here, or we gave it somewhere else.
I don't know.
We don't have a PowerPoint.
We don't have a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it in here. We would go downstairs, but Heidi has got me locked up.
Do you need to run the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
You want him to do it there, or?
I've got my computer, I've got thumb drive, whatever.
Probably a thumb drive, so
So you guys are okay with the county attorney joining us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Are we recording as well? So,
Well, we are right
Well,
now.
yeah.
what,
But not,
Not when we go to the.
okay, I understand.
so I just wanna make sure, so all the grounds are covered, and I gave, Lance a heads up of what sort of information is needed. So, to go in under financial affairs or trade secrets, the exception, there's several different inquiries that have to be made, but one of them is either the trade secret, and my understanding is this is a product that you plan on producing that should you discuss it in an open session that would potentially cause a competitive harm to you. It's specific to what you guys are doing, and although the product is something that is available outside what you're doing is specific to you're going to manufacture something on your own, and what you're doing is not known outside your business.
That's correct.
So there would potentially be a competitive harm should that information be released, especially on the World Wide Web, where somebody could come back. The additional part of that is you're laying out your financial reasoning for doing what you're doing, and there would potentially be a financial competitive harm for someone who could get your figures and your numbers and then use that either against you or to compete against you, is my understanding or impression. Are those?
That's correct.
Okay. So, to disclose that information in an open session would potentially cripple you moving forward and starting your business.
That's correct.
So would we need Jenny in there also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've met previously, and I've got some information after reviewing their law as well.
Okay. Okay. So, do we think we're ready here?
Well, I don't want to do anything more until I give a little time once you go in to get that started, because I don't want to put anything up.
Okay, I understand. How much time are we thinking?
So we had put on the agenda for 30 minutes.
Okay, okay. You want that all in the executive session meeting then?
If that's
And maybe initially, before going in, just to introduce yourself so people know who you are, and then after that, the motion can be made.
Yeah, we can do that right now.
If you go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, so, I'm Stephen Lance Link, I go by Lance. I'll be the majority owner of, the business that we're presenting to you today. So my background is, I'm a Navy nuke electrician, did 9 years in the Navy. I've worked for the Coffee County Sheriff's Office for approximately 13 years as a reserve part-time. I also worked for the City Police Department, for about a year, maybe a year and a half. SWAT background, did 4 years on Coffee County SRT approximately. Firearms enthusiast. Currently I'm the director of nuclear security at Wolf Creek. Manage somewhere around 140 employees. So most of my background is started in operations, moved to maintenance, so I managed maintenance. So I have a pretty heavy maintenance background, mechanical aptitude, and a lot of my background in the Navy was electronics, digital electronics and electrical work. And then got a family, have a son, a daughter who's still in college, and a granddaughter, so that's kind of me in a nutshell. I've been in Coffee County for approximately 25 years.
Stephen Alexander Link, you guys can call me Alex. Got a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering. Just passed my professional engineering exam a couple weeks ago, so I'll be a licensed professional engineer here in the coming weeks or month, hopefully. Did my undergraduate at Kansas State. Currently a Master's of Science student in Explosives Engineering at Missouri S&T. I'm current staff design engineer at Wolf Creek. Been there for 3 years now. Before that, I was a bridge designer and inspector in Topeka for Finish for a year. And while I was at K-State, I was a research technician assistant for the Civil Engineering Department, where I learned to do metal machining on CNC and manual machines, and some welding, which I also learned formally in high school. So that's my background. Got a daughter, year and a half old, so that's my family.
And this is father-son team?
Yep.
So are we ready, everybody, think?
Think so?
Motion to enter into executive session for 30 minutes to include each of the commissioners, County Councilor Wade Bowie, Economic Development Director Jenny Tapman, Coffee County Concepts Stephen Lance Link and Stephen Alexander Link to discuss financial affairs, trade secrets of a corporation under Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4319B4.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Been moved by Abendroth and seconded by Peterson. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We will go in at 9:39.
Do you guys want copies of their applications?
That'd be fine. I'd wait until you.
We're formally in.
Okay, we're in now.
Sure.
Sure.
Want another 20 minutes there.
Yeah, I'll.
Yeah, I agree.
I got some questions.
Wait, no, it's.
Yes.
We're on.
Yeah, we're back in. Angie? If she's here or not.
We're coming back in, but then they want to do another.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you. I missed that on yours. I missed it at the time, I think, Eddie said you ran.
Yeah, we started.
Okay. That is what we have to answer this? Okay.
Yeah,
Have
gotta
to
go
make sure
another
that.
one.
Do we need to
Commissioners, okay. Yeah, is it okay?
Do you want Brenda?
I've already seen their financials, I've seen their presentation.
We do want her in.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we'd like to have you in
No,
add you to the, we're gonna go back in for 20 minutes.
Okay, if that's okay,
Okay.
that'd be great.
Are you vice president, Brenda?
President.
I'm sorry.
Who's the big cheese?
Yeah.
We can't have her in.
You can't have her in?
Oh, okay. That's,
Never mind.
okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Sorry, this is my
Okay.
first time doing one of these, so.
That's okay. I wasn't for sure either, so it's all good. So yeah, I'll let you know. I am here. I'm cheering for you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session for 20 minutes to include each of the commissioners, County Councilor Wade Bowie, Economic Development Director Jenny Tapman, Coffee County Concepts Stephen Link and Stephen Link, to discuss financial affairs / trade secrets of a corporation under the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 754319B4.
Second.
Moved by Barker, seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion?
Just so it's out there, this is a continuation of the last executive session under the same basis.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We'll go in at 10:12. I think will give us enough time.
Oh, there it is. Wait, can you grab that one?
The switch on, don't you want?
It is on.
Okay. We're back in. Are we open now?
For a break, and I think they're gonna go back into another executive session.
Off
schedule now.
Yep.
So, why don't we take a 10-minute break? And, come back.
5, if you're okay with 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. We'll come back at, 10:38.
Okay.
Yep. Mike?
We're on.
Mike?
We're still finishing up the last deal and then the closed doors.
You'll need to take this too, 'cause I think that's what it's trying to time to read it.
Okay.
So take it with you and just
Yeah.
throw it over there.
Yeah. I'll give you guys back the copy of my current. I'll shred it.
Okay, do I have a motion to enter into executive session for 15 minutes to include each of the commissioners, County Councilor Wade Bowie, Economic Development Director Jenny Tapman, Coffee County Concepts Stephen Lance Link and Stephen Alexander Link, to discuss financial affairs / trade secrets of a corporation under the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 754319B4.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Abendroth and seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Yes, we'll go in at 10:40.
I'm gonna announce in the hallway sort of what's going on so people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I didn't realize how many.
Yep.
I apologize, I should have probably just asked for 45 minutes or longer.
That's okay. We may have more discussion about it again. Oh, the longest minute again. And must have just started over. There we go. Okay. Back in.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Jenny, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you pass those thoughts?
Oh.
Down the hall?
You guys have a good day.
Yeah, thank you, you do the same.
Yeah.
This is for that roof, it's probably one that is sitting and sending deals and not saying nothing.
It's my recommendation.
Probably is. Is that all right? How you doing, Mark?
Hello, how are you guys?
Good. We think.
Getting on up.
Gee, it rained over
yesterday?
We had about 1,700. You may have had more down there on Bungie.
I think I did.
Will Benton said he had 2 inches where he farms, and I'm guessing you probably had an inch and a half or 2.
Was that yesterday then? Yeah.
They're in town, we have about 40 south. Like that more.
Good deal.
Pop
that deal?
Yeah, you got that one.
I've got one, right?
That's ours. That was 3.
I don't want him to go there.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get him here.
My name's still today, the 14th.
What is it?
Vehicle on fire.
In the parking lot?
Oh, nobody's in.
You got these more chairs?
Yeah, I gotta get,
Okay, so we've got, Art Friend and Eric Friend via Teams industrial waste application in Coffee County. And we've got numerous other people here, so welcome.
It's Eldon Thomas,
Pardon me?
it's Eldon Thomas.
Eldon Thomas, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I knew who it was, but and other people also.
Okay, Eric said he's in the meeting now.
yeah. I'm just trying to get it to where I can get him up there. Not wanting to recognize it. Of course.
Okay. So the Eric's meeting's not showing up, or the
No,
flash
he's
drive?
there, I
Okay.
just can't get him, I guess I could just play it on my computer.
Okay, that'd be
Okay,
fine.
let me do that,
Yeah.
and then I can still work on trying to get it
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
Let
that's
me, him and I did a run through, like we were gonna have it ready to go, and of course, now I can't get it there.
That's normal, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm there. I don't know if it's gonna, can you hear us? Oh. Eric, are you there? Oh, it's that. It was the radio. Okay.
Oh, you thought you could.
Well, now it's saying,
I could put them on speakerphone if it doesn't
This is
look there.
plugged in.
are you there, Eric?
Does Yale have,
Can you hear us, Eric?
is Yale
I can
plugged
hear
in?
him.
That's gotta be plugged in over there.
Oh,
I just gotta get the microphone to give me.
Get that over there.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Plug the fans we can all buy.
See my microphone.
Try that. I didn't know what you had plugged into that, didn't know if we could unplug it or not.
Technology's great when it works.
It is, I know.
He says he can't hear anything on his
He
end.
can't hear on mine now. I can hear him,
Okay.
but for some reason my microphone's not wanting to work.
So probably it's like the different default.
If you can hear me on that end, it looks like you're on mute.
I know. We are on mute, but it won't let me unmute it. This is on my desktop right now. I don't know if that's gonna, it should still connect to this though.
It shouldn't be that.
well, me too. All I do is start pushing buttons.
You're on your desktop over there.
So I almost need this on this computer here.
And you need to do the host here. Unless you may have this setting on your computer.
Aren't you saying you have him on
I'm texting him, I could put him on speakerphone even.
Yeah, you wanna do that.
Let's see if I can call him.
For some reason, I did it before, but it's not wanting to cooperate. I know.
Talk now.
Can you hear us, Eric? Eric?
I think I could hear him. Is it or not?
My apologies, we ran the test on this last week and it worked, but it's
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Eric.
Okay, we could put you on speakerphone.
He's,
we can hear it
We can
here.
hear you, but you probably can't hear us then.
Well, Andy's video just came through.
So you can hear me?
It looks like you're on mute on the meeting.
Yeah, it won't let us unmute it. But
Love technology.
if you want to be on speakerphone, everyone can hear you through this speaker if you can hear everyone else talking. Does that work?
Yeah, let's make that work.
It'll be delayed, but that's okay.
Okay. Is that okay? Sorry.
Is the flash drive open?
Yeah, that's what we're still having trouble with that too, so.
you wanna get in contact with technology people
I
again?
tried to get him.
I was just asking if wait.
Oh, yeah. I could probably text Brad.
Can we look on your desktop and see if we can
Yeah.
open it up to do it that way? Because that might be what.
Oh, I could do that. I could do it from there. That's what.
Are there more chairs available?
And then I can pull it. Really?
Oh.
That was your change or not anymore?
It is.
Yeah. I had,
Well, me too.
well, I think it was brought in.
I'm gonna get it here.
Should be one here on the flash.
Okay,
We're there.
we got that. Where do you wanna be?
Start at the top up there.
Here? Okay, we're on now.
Okay, we'll give it a try now, folks.
Okay. I'd like to thank you guys for your time this morning. I'm Art Friend, and we're here to discuss the industrial waste dumping that's going on in Coffee County. I'd like to start by letting the crowd introduce themselves and where they live. Logan, if you could start.
I live on Iris and 24th at 2444 Iris Road.
Ron Friend, I live at 2444 Irish Road, a quarter mile from
municipal waste injection site at home.
Rocky here, it's 17th Road, 1849 17th Road, Tower Road, 1577 Underwood Road. Bruce Cope, 2491 Irish Road.
Catherine Cope, 2491 Irish Road.
Jim Smith, 26 Iris.
Janet Truelove. I live here in Burlington, but my daughter and grandkids live across the street on 21st and Clement.
My name is Rustin Kimmel. I'm an attorney with an office here in Burlington.
I'm Ann Tice. I live at 1744 21st Road, Waverly.
I'm Jordan Fleming, and I live right across the street of the dump site at Clement and 20 Acres Center Road.
Charlie McCoy, 842 24th Road, off Iris.
Ron Smith, Iris, and 25th.
Eldon Thomas, 911 24th Road, live right across the road from the site.
Thank you, guys. As you can see, this issue here affects a lot of residents in the county. For them to take time out of their busy schedule to come here today. I'd like to thank Carl Lee for all his time and knowledge and correspondence with KDHE on this issue. He's been fabulous. Really appreciate his knowledge and experience and working with KDHE on this. We've got slides packets together. Which one of you? Go to the next slide. This is kind of an overview here of the site. Where it's left, maybe. There it is. Just the pictures here. Okay. There's 10 residences, including one planned residence, within 1 mile of the dump site. 6 of them are directly in line with the prevailing south wind. Runoff water drains directly into the Frog Creek watershed. And as you can see, there's 2 reservoirs. Well, it's not going to work. Can't see it on the screen, I guess. Maybe that's it.
Oh,
There's,
you wanna go to the...
Yeah, I'll swap over there and point. There's one reservoir right here, watershed reservoir, and there's another right there. Both of them are within 3/4 of a mile downstream. And there's also a fishing pond right there and the wetland pond in the bottom of the rock break pit. I can go on here. Rock ledges under the field daylight from the wetland habitat being developed in the adjacent reclaimed rock quarry ponds that also drain into Frog Creek. Eric, can you still hear us? I can. Okay.
I'll get back up here in a minute. I know, it just went off. I need to get reconnected. It's the weirdest thing today.
Tis Monday.
Oh, my.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I don't know how to get rid of that. It's over there. They're gone.
They gone to their...
Oh my gosh. I get it.
Doing the best you can. Okay.
Yeah, we lost visual on the screen.
This happened during our budget work session too.
Then whenever the tech people come up to look at it, everything's fine.
We're fine, yeah.
Wayne?
Can you help her for a minute?
I got it, to display, but it took away my connection. Which display settings?
Oh, yeah. Right, I moved, yeah. Right, and, look, where is it? Well, yeah, almost in.
How do you get the other screen going? Okay, we're back. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Let's go to the next slide.
Sorry about that.
Surface water runs off directly into bodies of water from all parts of this site. The east end,
Gentlemen.
And we're looking north.
yeah, looking north towards the rock quarry.
Right.
On the east side, the east half, basically the east half of that all runs east into the watershed behind Jared Basil's place. The south half of what's left would run towards the slough that runs into Frog Creek, down into the other watershed reservoir. The north side of that, most of that will go into the fishing pond or in the road ditch, going north. The site features shallow soil above a rock ledge. Excess water in the soil cannot penetrate the rock layer and tends to fall at the surface at other locations. Pollutants will accumulate in nearby ponds and detention lakes, and no pollution study, sampling, or monitoring is planned. We've talked to KDHE about this, and they plan on doing zero testing or sampling.
So do you have any evidence of fluid coming up at other locations because of the rock ledge yet?
Perhaps. We think we do. There's, I'll get to it back in the slides here. We've got some pictures of stuff that we think is occurring that we were trying to get tested to verify one way or the other. So on the regulatory environment, currently industrial waste dumps are operating in Coffee County with almost no regulation or oversight from county or state. KDHE has approved operation of permanent industrial waste dumps in Coffee County without even the basic documentation required, such as the Form SWP 905 application form and SWP 906 with sample analysis to define allowable rates and requirements. And Eric, could you explain more what the 905 and 906 forms are?
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, there, as noted on there, there's a minimum level of required documentation defined in the KDHE process. And those are the application form documents referred to as SWP 905, and then SWP 906, which is the agronomic calculation sheets for the application rate, and then also includes
and we did ask KDHE about those forms, and Eric got an email response up there, from KDHE, and it states that normally KDHE issues approval letters with only SWP 905 and 906s approved. There's another procedure, which I call the checkbook method, that doesn't use 905s or 906s due to historical precedence and performance. And this is part of our concern, is because the paperwork has not been submitted and this has been approved to operate. Okay, next slide. All waste being dumped in Coffee County is being hauled in from other counties and states. Industrial waste originates from all over Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. The commercial waste disposal company operating both dump sites in Coffee County sources waste directly from waste producers. However, industrial waste with unknown origins is also being sourced from other waste disposal companies located in Kansas City, Wichita, and Arkansas, and being dumped in Coffee County. And even the waste from known sources they have submitted the paperwork and lab reports to KDHE, even from these known sources, have unknown chemical composition and or contaminants due to any lack of regular testing requirements. It's not like every load is sampled or anything like that. It is one sample taken, and they're assuming that every load thereafter is the same product, the same composition, the same nutrients, the same chemicals or whatever else, same grease load. They're assuming it's all the same. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yep. This is a map from the Web Soil Service from NRCS, a soil map of the Hodges property there, Hodges Farm, Iris Road. And I say Hodges don't own it. It's KDHE refers to this as a Hodges property due to the former ownership. And the predominant soil type on that is Aliceville silty clay loam. There's 46% of that. Also Kenoma and Summit soil types. Go into the next slide. Up one.
Up one?
Yeah, there's two that are similar.
Oh, okay.
So on KDHE regulations, they have to have a 200-foot setback from property lines, 500 foot from residences, and I believe it's 100 feet, maybe it's 200, I think it's 100 feet from waterways or such as that. So you take out the 200, just the 200 feet border around all sides of that property, and that comes up to 32.5 acres, 200 feet all the way around on that 80. They cannot use due to setback, not counting the 500 feet to a residence and the other waterway in the northeast corner. So what that does, when you take that 200-foot setback out, that changes the Aliceville silty clay loam soil type to 54% of this property. And the reason that's important is over on the right side over there, you can see depth to restrictive feature, and this is from NRCS. 40 to 60 inches to lithic bedrock. And the drainage class on that is moderately well drained. So the water is going to infiltrate this soil type pretty well. But they get down to lithic bedrock at 40 to 60 inches. Okay, next slide. And quick geology refresher here. Bedrock is specified as either paralithic or lithic. If the bedrock is paralithic, excavations can be made with trenching machines, backhoes, or small rippers. If the bedrock is lithic, blasting or special equipment is generally needed for excavation. And that is defined by NRCS. And that is why there is a rock quarry right next door to this property, and why there was consideration of a rock quarry on this very property, because of the rock layers underneath this. And when it says bedrock down 40 to 60 inches, there's also yellow cap rock. When they had the rock quarry operating, they considered it overburden. They'd have stripped the overburden off to get down to the bedrock. And what this is saying, the bedrock is 40 to 60 inches deep based on that soil type. So that is saying 54% of this 200, of these usable acres here has this soil type that is shallow soils. Not saying the others of it isn't shallow, but this specific soil type is known for shallow rock ledges. Let's see. Next one. This picture on the left. These are, we have some groundwater seeps coming into the rock quarry. There's 2 of them here that are coming in, we believe, perhaps from the south. But is seeping out, this is all backfill here, on top of the rock ledges. And there's water seeping out underneath the backfill into these rock ledges in 2 locations here. That, the whole rock ledge slopes from south to north. So all this water here runs into this wetland pond right there. There's a picture of the soybean field I farmed to the east. There's a spot, a wet weather seep over there where water comes to the surface when the soils are wet and saturated. And as you can see, it was muddy when we planted that, nothing grew. It's just a little area about the size of this table here, wet weather seep. It's got, and you can see it's got the marsh grass in it. It's a consistent annual wet spot. And that water would come through the rock ledges as daylighting in that soybean field off-site. Okay, next one. Okay, more water quality issues here. The groundwater seeps, as I mentioned before, from the rock layers that feeds into the quarry ponds. We believe we have evidence of possible contamination, including water odor, color, tapeworms, and apparent grease residue. As you can see here, this is one of the seeps coming out of the backfill down the rock ledge into the pond in the quarry. I noticed, this would have been June 19th, I believe. 20th. I think I called you the 20th. I think I noticed. It's not 19th or 20th. What appeared to be some type of little, I didn't know what it was at first, little worm of some sort in these puddles that are coming out of where the water is seeping out of the backfill. And I didn't know what it was. I took a cup, sloshed around the water, and it's hard to tell. There's nothing to scale, but this is pieces of gravel here. They're about 3/8 to 1/2 inch long, and little bitty. There's hundreds or thousands of them in these mud puddles. And the water's clear, and it's in the rock quarry. The water's clear, so you can see down it. The water was probably 2 or 3 inches deep in these puddles. And I cleaned them up, and this is what they look like. They appear to be tapeworms. And this is zoomed in on the tailgate of the pickup. This is a screw in the tailgate to kind of give you an idea of a size comparison. Like I said, they're about 3/8 or 1/2 inch long. Look like little bitty flat pasta. And when I realized they were possible tapeworms, I had hand sanitizer in the pickup, cleaned my hands immediately. I still got sick for 2 days after this. Another concern I have is with this, slide for a second here. As you can see, we store hay bales in this rock quarry pit on the higher spots in there. And a concern I have is my employees are down there loading hay in these conditions. And prior to June, this would have been a few days before the 19th of June, I had 2 employees go over and load a semi-load of hay. And they got back and complained how bad the mud in that quarry stunk. Their boots reeked, the pickup they drove over there reeked, had mud thrown up in the fenders, and you could smell the pickup from several feet away. And one guy's boot smelled so bad, he changed his boots when he got back to the shop, and you could walk around that shop and smell his boots. There was a very nasty, rancid, putrid odor coming from that mud. We'd never had that before. We stored hay in that quarry for 20 years or more. We've never had that issue prior to that. We've never had any type of worms. And those are all dead. They were already dead. Don't know how long they've been there, but a week later they were gone. They decomposed and were gone. I inquired about KDHE about taking water samples when we noticed all this stuff. I contacted Carl. He got in touch with KDHE, and they come down that day, looked at it. They didn't seem to be too concerned about the worms, but somebody noticed that there was a white, let's go to the next slide here. There was a white grease-like substance, it's in the right picture there, on the water coming out of the seep. And that seemed to concern KDHE. And on the left, there's a picture of the water in the pond at the bottom of the pit, and it's normally clear at this rock bottom. And there appears to be some white bubbles in that photo too, on that water. Don't know what that is, but like I said, there's definitely white bubbles on that normally clear water. And like I said, we contacted KDHE. Carl was in contact with them. I was asking them to do some water testing to verify one way or the other on this. I contacted a KDHE certified lab in Hutchinson about doing the samples to send them in ourselves when KDHE seemed to be dragging their feet. They said it could cost as much as $400 to $500 per sample to do this, because they have to sample for the grease, they have to sample for all kinds of nutrients, contaminants. They didn't know what they'd be testing for. So there's a long laundry list of stuff that they'd want to test for to verify yes or no, is this the problem? So I was pushing KDHE to get involved on this, and they're not going to do it. And I personally believe that is because if they do find a problem, they're supposed to be monitoring this. And if there's a problem, then clearly something has failed. Whether it's lack of oversight, lack of regulation, something has failed in order to let this happen. And they don't want to find proof of what's going on. If we were to have a sample to come back and say, yes, there's definitely this, this, and this, the same that's been applied, then it would look really bad on KDHE. Okay, next slide. Here's some pictures of it in operation. This picture here, as you can see, they're working in the rain. We had about an inch of rain that afternoon. This is when the rain started. This is the next day after the inch of rain. You can see water standing in the terrace channels, and they're out there applying. And you can see the stuff coming off the back of their tank. It appears it's being surface applied. You can see this gray streak right there. That's the concentrated strip of what they're dumping. It's hard to tell, but these are ruts. It was so muddy, they were cutting, they've ripped this ground. So they're cutting in deep. They're taking heavy wagons, heavy four-wheel drive tractors, and they are flat out leaving ruts. And then you can't really tell, but they've got in this picture, there's another tractor behind this with a chisel. And chisels have 12, the shanks are typically 12 inches apart, probably 2-inch wide sweeps on it. That is going to do a very poor job of incorporating.
Where's this at, Art?
This is at the 24th and Iris location. And we talked, KDHE was involved in this. They looked at it, or talked, I guess they were notified about it, but from my understanding, they weren't concerned. They said that the definition, there's two limitations on when they can apply. They cannot apply on frozen ground, and they cannot apply if the ground is saturated. And from what I understand, their definitions of frozen and saturated are vague. Their description that the ground is saturated is you pick up a handful of mud, if water runs out of it, it's saturated. So from what I understand, this was allowable on the mud. Now, no manure applicator could get by with that. But that was happening. And as you can see, like I said, there's water standing in the terrace channel in that field. That was farther to the west. They were applying up on the hill toward the center of the east side of that field. This picture here shows they're applying on top, and it doesn't appear that there's even any kind of tillage apparatus on the back of this to inject it. It's just directly spraying on top, which they're allowed to do as long as it's worked within 24 hours. But how do you work mud when you're dumping water on top of it? How do you work that? How do you incorporate that? So then that also brings the issue. Yesterday I drove by this site. They hadn't applied for 23 days over at the 24th and Iris location, and it smelled rancid. With the east wind, there had been a rain. It just smelled absolutely rancid. So I don't know if the rain activated the stuff or bacteria. I don't know, but it had a horrible smell coming off of there yesterday. Like I said, it's been 23 days since they've applied. And there's been neighbors complaining about flies. Major increase in the number of flies. And not even right on site. We're talking 3/4 of a mile away. because of evidently the rancid stuff that's being applied, and part of it could be we've had a wet spring. There's been a lot of mud and a lot of stuff going on in the mud over there, but either way, the flies and the smell, the flies have been horrible. Okay, next slide. In summary, short-term requests to KDHE to sample and monitor water contamination have been rejected. There's been a lack of interest in acknowledging that there is a problem by KDHE. They've been on site twice and looked at this. We'd like to request engagement from the Coffee County Commissioners with KDHE to address lack of oversight and ongoing impacts to neighbors and industrial waste dumps in Coffee County. Long-term, commercial operation of industrial waste dumps in Coffee County without any county, state, or federal regulation or oversight should be addressed in the upcoming comprehensive plan. And this is separate, the industrial waste is separate from biosolids. There are companies out there that apply biosolids, like pumped out of lagoons or stuff like that. And Hodge's name would come up in the past, Hodge's Farm and Dredging, but that is a separate type of deal. The biosolid regulations are very strict, like KDHE. EPA is involved in it. They've got 503 regulations. There's a lot of oversight and monitoring on that type of product. But what we're concerned about the industrial waste, the stuff that there is no oversight, no monitoring. They're using a loophole, kind of like manure application, saying it's beneficial use. And that is the problem, because Kansas, being a right to farm state, is hands off on manure application a lot of times. So they've used this loophole for beneficial use on this industrial waste, slipping it through there with lack of oversight and monitoring. There's no testing as far as on-site, no monitoring, not even sure as far as what's being applied. They're not testing, from what I understand, they're not testing for any cleaners or acids or stuff like that in the product.
What about NPK? I mean,
there is some of that in there. They test for that.
I'm just curious what kind of an analysis is that on? I mean,
Yeah, I don't think I got that with me.
But they do check for the NPK and.
They do on a not every load. They do for each supplier, and I don't know how long that test is good for.
I was just curious because
it's very.
Us about 2%.
Pardon?
About 2%.
On each NPK.
Steve, that form that you passed around towards the back of it, I think it's, there's a sample analysis that they gotta submit. And they would have all that information. The one I passed around is black.
And that'd be like per ton, is that correct?
It would be what the analysis of the wastewater is, the industrial wastewater.
Okay.
So
I think there's 22 or 33 constants that they're taking in and testing for. NP and K is one of them. And they have to do that annually.
But, annually?
Yeah, they get approval annually, is what they get an approval for.
If it's not P and K or any of that, how often do they have to test that materials that are going into the soil?
Annually. See, every year they're required to submit an annual soil analysis and a soil and a water analysis of what they're going to be applying to the land.
Has this been done, or what's been applied?
Yes, they have. I gotta back up, because we started mixing things up. Eric and Arthur have looked into it, and they haven't supplied all the documented material yet that we know of, as far as the Hodges side.
We've got.
Like there's been the approval for the site at 24th and Planter Road over at Hall Summit. So that's been given an approval, and they've submitted samples for it.
They're supposed to submit the samples to calculate how much they can apply based on the nutrient load of the product they're applying.
I guess that's what I was after, because if there's oversaturation of those three elements, I mean that.
Yeah, I think the thing is, because it's such a minute amount, such a low percentage of NP and K, it takes so many thousands and thousands of gallons that to get the application where it even would be close to what it needs for a crop. And they continuously add this stuff on, they're constantly working the ground, getting it dry out, getting it to absorb. So there's so much activity going on, but then they apply again and again and again to build these rates up because it takes so much. Well then, it may not even be, for instance, even if KDHE was to come in and say, okay, we need to reduce the amount that's being applied, and they're looking into that, from what I understand, that they need to reduce the amount that's allowed to be applied. But, so say you get a 3-inch rain, and then 2 days later you get another 2-inch rain, like we do sometimes in Kansas, that you're gonna flush all that stuff if you have shallow soils that's moderately to well drained.
So it'll take it all.
It'll take it all down again, and this is our concern, because there's been no geological testing or studying, there's been no geological consideration whatsoever in the past on any of this stuff, and I think, not saying it hasn't happened before, but in this rock quarry situation where we've got the rock ledges daylighting, it's obvious to see what could potentially be happening here. And like I pointed out there on that bean field to the east of that, that's a wet weather seep, groundwater. That's common in Coffee County. You have wet weather seeps that come out, whether it's pastures, hay meadows, crop fields, whatever. You have water that follows the rock ledges, or different soil types, or whatever it does, and then it comes to the surface. And our concern is with that water coming to the surface like that, underneath this property, the adjoining property, what is it bringing with it? And in this particular location, all the runoff goes into those 2 watershed lakes. And the neighbors are really concerned about that. Some of them water cattle from them, recreation, stuff like that. And so it brings up another issue is, if there is a pollution issue discovered down the road, who's responsible for it? Because it may not be noticed right away. What is to be done about that? Who would be responsible for cleanup? What will happen to the property with this contaminated?
KDHE would be working with the applicators if we put that on the land, would be my opinion. Their application process is one of the things I've constantly challenged with KDHE is that I call it hydraulically overloading the soil. They're putting so much water on that it doesn't ever really dry out. And then what they do is use a slurry tank is what they got. And the one that I've seen the most of is it's got 21-inch sweeps on it, but the soil's really wet. They don't use the sweeps, they use broadcast spreading. But what they do is then take a chisel plow followed by a tractor, and they continually just chisel the ground. And when he was talking about the 2-inch sweeps, that's basically what the chisel plow's pulling through. And then basically what they do is they pull it as deep as the tractor will pull it for the wet condition, and then they'll come back, turn around, and go back over the soil again. And it's just, I call it making it look like a milkshake, or a cake batter. And they continue to do that, and on the 24th and Irish side, since we got indications that there's bedrock close, they could be just making a channel down to the bedrock. KDHE, we voiced that concern to KDHE.
Who's monitoring the mounts material that's being placed upon this ground?
KDHE is talking to them and interviews them on that. I don't know what kind of data, I've never seen
Do they
that.
have data that we can put our hands on to look at?
I can make that, I can ask Emory for some data.
Our concern on using the chisel when it's wet. When it's dry, they're using a disc and incorporating it, but when it's wet, they're using this chisel. And the chisel, with the ground being muddy, they're just making a slice through the mud. It's high clay soil. And it's just making a trench for that product to possibly even leave sight in those trenches. Smearing the sidewalls as it dries, because the ground's going to be hard. It's not going to absorb additional waste that's added to it. And then there's terraces on this tract as well. And our concern is in a heavy rainfall event, especially if they've been applying and we don't know there's pop-up storm or something, a lot of runoff. These terraces drain into the county road ditches or onto the waterway on the east side that dump directly into Jared Basil's detention lake. So, the long term, let's see here. I mentioned about the comprehensive plan. Okay. And kind of in closing here, the unrestricted dumping of industrial waste in Coffee County is putting the burden, nuisance, and long-term expense of out-of-county waste disposal on Coffee County residents. I know the commissioners had a discussion here a few months ago about out-of-county waste and landfill, and whether we, as a county, wanted to subsidize out-of-county waste. Well, I feel like that's kind of what's going on here. As a county, we're dealing with out-of-county waste, industrial waste dumping. And as you can see, there's a lot of neighbors that are dealing with it. And I'm happy with the situation, and not just pollution, but flies, smell, trucks. There's a lot of unknowns going on with this thing.
A1 has marked everything off that they're supposed to as far as their separation distance and abide by that. And every time I've stopped and interviewed their staff for different things that I've seen when I've driven by, they've always been courteous and kind to me. So A1 staff, and if I've talked to the owner or one of their managers, they've always been professional to me and treated me well. But it's the continuous, my concern is they're hydraulically overloading the soil, they're making it mud, and then they're continuing to apply over that same area. But KDHE gives them the ability to do that.
And that's the problem is because there's the regulations allow that. There's nothing stopping them or limiting. Like I said, a manure applicator couldn't get by with applying manure, with the manure when the ground is wet. They'd have all kinds of trouble. But this, it's the Wild West. Missouri's in the process of doing redoing their regulations because of complaints and problems. And but Kansas hasn't got there yet.
Was Emory out Tuesday? Tuesday or
I didn't get to be. I took last Thursday off. Emory did spot checks last Thursday. I was spending time with family.
Okay.
And anyway, so Emory was out there. But the day that we looked at the worms and the scum on top of the water was a gentleman by the name of Joel Billinger, and he's the section chief. He's B. Emory's boss. And we expressed our concerns that day, what was happening in the rock quarry. Plus, we went up and looked at the site, and I was able to show him exactly, and then watch him also apply the industrial wastewater to the land. And he got to see what our point was is about really when they're chisel plowing, they are curling the soil, so to speak, like a chisel plow does. But if you look, it's doing it in chunks. They're making, and then they wait for it to dry out, and then they apply. I don't want to say dry out, but they keep applying it to that same area because they're allowed to apply to their zones. This would be. Send this around. On this map, it'll show 1, 2, 3, 4 zones, and that's what they do during as their application. So if it's supposed to coordinate with this table, it's right here on the top. That's the theory behind what they're doing. I've never seen any paperwork as far as keeping logs, how many gallons they apply to each zone each day. So I would need to ask that question of Emory.
They don't require them to keep those logs, or
I haven't seen it in writing, so I can't.
the state doesn't require them?
I haven't seen that in writing from the state.
Eric, do you have anything?
McNabb, right?
Huh?
This is on the McNabb, but not.
That'd be the McNabb place, but it's for the sake of the example. So if one of us talks about it, or KDHE talks about a zone that they're applying in, this gives you the example where you can logically see in the table how much waste is supposed to be applied to what zone. And the zone is what they work in,
Right.
They have different zones which are approved for the different amounts based upon the soil analysis and water analysis, and then they're allowed to apply
that much.
Is this a daily rate?
That's an annual.
Annual.
But see, I can't say what each zone, what acreage is in each zone. I haven't seen that.
An awful lot.
Yes, it is.
On
That's why
the-
I call it hydraulically loaded, water loaded.
On the McNabb property, is there about, I think there's about 4 or 5 zones. We got a bunch of information from a Cora request from KDHE that has all their zones on the property, which companies, when they figure up their application rates based on the lab results and the fertility of the nutrients in that waste, they can put on so many gallons of that product per zone based on soil testing. And they submitted that on the McNabb property to KDHE. They've got, for instance, on zone 1, they've got a certain company, zone 2 is another company, zone 3 is a third company, based upon the nutrients of what they're applying. From what we've gathered from core requests from KDHE, there appears not to be this information on the 24th and Iris location. We've had a core request, and that's what that statement was from KDHE about not, typically they require those forms, but they didn't in this situation based on past performance. So that is part of our concern as well. There's, we're having issues here, but we don't even know what to test for, because we don't know what's being applied. Apparently nothing has been submitted to KDHE stating that the product, like on the McNabb property, they have paperwork here on Zone 1, this particular company is applying on Zone 1, there's lab analysis to back that up. They use that analysis to figure out the agronomic rate that it would take to plant a corn crop. But on the Hodges property, now maybe it's been done, but maybe it was the back of a napkin or scratch paper, I don't know, but KDHE was unable to provide us with that information in a core request.
The core, I haven't made an extensive core request that they have. They basically are trying to get a hold of the whole file, and they have to make a core request to get that.
We've got hundreds of pages of paperwork we've gone through, and there are a lot of lab tests, and there's soil tests and all that kind of stuff, because like I said, on the McNabb, or the 21st and Planter property, and then there's 2 in Osage County, they've got the stuff submitted for the proper application rate based upon the company the stuff is coming from. But on the 24th and Iris Road, we haven't seen that. We haven't been able to locate that. And one of the core requests, I think, was 411 pages. So there's a lot of documents to go through, but some of it's duplicate. But some of this stuff, I mean, when you do soil tests over this many zones, there's a lot of paperwork involved in it. But then our concern is as well, they're basing the application rates based off the lab analysis of one sample of product from one company. They're assuming, to the best of my knowledge anyway, they're assuming that every load that comes out of that plant has the same analysis. And that was part of the complication. I spoke to that lab in Hutchinson about getting water samples, was knowing what to test for. Because unless you had a lab result of what was applied, even if you pull the samples and you have stuff showing up in your samples, you're not going to be able to say, yes, it was definitely this, it was not this. There's no way to know. It's difficult to say one way or the other. And that's part of our concern is we don't know if this is contamination. We feel that there's a good possibility it could be. But we've never had tapeworms, to our knowledge, in that rock quarry in 20 years, storing hay down there. We've never noticed white film on top of water.
Another way in which we've helped address this is I've questioned KDHE, or what they call surface water quality standards. And what that is would be the runoff from the area. And they're still contemplating, how valid what we're talking about, because one of my things is they apply to this area, it's already saturated, so we're not going to have an absorption curve for rain. Even though they may stop, that's still going to have runoff from it. And will it violate water quality standards? Is my point. That's established through the Bureau of Water, and they advised me that they would sample for what we call nutrients, which would be ammonium nitrate, and then also bacteria. And I've supplied them with some bottles to send to the Hutchinson laboratory if they choose to sample above it and what's coming off the property they want.
Yeah. And like at the quarry location, other than down at the bottom where the fishing pond is, within the quarry pit, it's not surface runoff, because the ground, there's actually a berm on the property line when the quarry was reclaimed to make sure the surface water doesn't come into that rock quarry pit.
So for the Hodges site, there's two concerns that we voiced a strong concern over.
Yeah. And
About the runoff into that.
Runoff going to the surface water, plus what could go through the geologic formation, come out into the rock quarry.
And after talking to KDHE, what I understand, they've never had a concern about geological issues before. So that's why they haven't looked into this and never considered this. Because they haven't, to their knowledge, nobody's complained about it before. Eric, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think we're pretty well
toss into there is we've tried to push them also on what their definition, when would it be a nuisance? And we've not been able to get a communication from KDHE what a nuisance would be to them. And it's in statute how that's written, but they won't tell us what their interpretation is.
Because there's been numerous conversations about 21st and Planter that, I mean, it's not
Yes,
like.
because we've approached that situation with it, that this is a nuisance situation where they can't use their property as freely as what they would like.
Right.
What really drove their home about their attention was is with the flies a week or 2 weeks ago.
A week ago, I think.
Yeah,
It's been a few weeks.
Well,
It just got really bad recently.
right, Matt talked to, I mean, I came
Yeah.
out that evening and then I
Right.
called
We
him.
spray for them almost every other day and it does not help. They come back the next day.
And I guess that's what
So I've been
got-
pushing that side
Right.
from the public nuisance standpoint, and then like for the Hodges side, it's the water quality, both geologic and on the surface run.
I guess one of the points I'd like to bring up perhaps, while we're having the comprehensive plan discussions and stuff, if there is a pollution issue out of this deal down, and I'm not saying as far as just our property, or any, from industrial waste in the county, there should be a bond or something so if there is a problem down the road, that it can be handled and dealt with. Because say 10 years down the road, there's a water quality issue, somewhere, contamination. If the company that applied is no longer in business, who's responsible? Who's responsible to clean up on that? It's like solar or wind, we talked about bonds for decommissioning because of environmental concerns. And I feel like this here should have a bond, if this is on the industrial waste side of it, there should be a bond for down the road, and it needs to last well beyond when they finish applying, because the pollution may not show up right away. There might be better testing in the future, or something else we're testing for that is all of a sudden a problem, or carcinogenic, or who knows what. And I think there needs to be a bond for this to protect the citizens of our county. Because like I said, this goes into, these detention lakes, the public fishes in them. They're very, very well used for the public. A lot of kids go over and fish on gravel roads. So it's just something to think about. Do you guys have any other comments to add?
Yeah, Frog Creek dumps into Melbourne Lake, which provides water for tens of thousands of people. And the flies at my place, there's thousands and thousands of flies, and the stench just about makes you sick.
Yeah, it is definitely a nuisance, and that's why KDHE needs to address what exactly is considered a nuisance and how to alleviate it. Whether it's not applying on certain days, the wind or rain is forecast, or something, because, or maybe it's because the stuff's been kept in tanks too long. Some of the stuff definitely smells worse than others, and I don't know if it's because it's fresher product, different product, but there's definitely a difference on some of that stuff. And there again, without the lab results to show what's being applied, we don't know what the difference is or what's causing the difference either. So, does anybody else have anything to add?
I would just say that there's wildlife in the area if you don't care about the human impact. I mean, we had an eagle in our backyard not too long ago. I mean, there's deer, there's geese, and, you should be concerned about the environment there.
Yes. Anybody else?
There's an eagle nest
Yep.
less than a mile from this place.
Yep.
There is, yes.
It was over on Bourne's place, it fell down, they moved over on Hammond's place. They feed off of the lake, both lakes. They have young every year. We've watched them now for about 9 years. They just had 2. Plus all the other wildlife in that area.
Just a little over half a mile away.
Exactly. And we got a lot of rain not too long ago. That lake of ours went from about a normal 40 to 50 acres to about 120. All that water goes Rogue Creek, as Mr. French said, to Melbourne Lake and who knows where else. This is common sense.
Something else I guess I didn't mention, it's been on the picture, it's hard to see. There's been a lot of buzzards after application on those grounds.
We have a lot around our place too. They roost there in the trees
Okay.
all the time.
Yeah, they've been landing out in that field after it's been applied.
We're in a migratory flyway, along with the bald eagles, turkey vultures, blue herons, double-crested cormorant, sandhill crane, American crow, wood duck, great egrets, Canada geese, mallard ducks, horned, whatever, owls, quail, gulls, American white pelicans, ring-billed gulls, northern meadowlark, goldfinch, eastern phoebe, blue jays, yellow warbler, purple finches, goldfinches, thrush, cowbirds, northern shovelers, blue-winged teal, hooded mergansers, hummingbirds, spotted towheels, cardinals, robins, red-headed woodpeckers, hairy woodpeckers, and pileated woodpeckers, and bobcats, deer. We're like the nursery. We have, they have deer, at least 4 deer on our place every year. There's all the wildlife you could want to have, and what we thought was the best place in the world, and the best farmers in the world, the best people in the world, and this is just dumping on it. This is just disgusting.
So are these dump sites that they're utilizing, these companies actually didn't buy these sites, did they?
The site at 24th and Iris, they did. They did.
And then the other ones,
I'm sorry.
are the other ones leased?
Leased. I think there's another one that's owned as well in Osage County.
In Osage County, but in Coffee County, it's owned and leased. The Hodges site is owned by, A1 governors or Mama Quail.
Some of my concern is it does run off. And it's going to continue to run off. You can't keep saturating. Well, what gets down into the spring water? My mom's place is still on a well, and it's fed by spring. And it's just a mile away from the dump site there in that place. Who knows which direction that goes?
It's very common for Coffee County to have shallow soils and rock outcropping and stuff like that, wet weather seeps, and it's not specific to these 2 locations either. It's the county as a whole is our concern as well, because other neighbors, there's a large group of people here that's affecting, and a lot more that aren't even here today, but they could have to pop up somewhere else tomorrow. And that's part of our concern, and I guess I'd like to leave you guys with one, if you could anyway, reach out to, as a commission, reach out to KDHE, put some pressure on them to address these issues, to monitor what's happening, better oversight, inquire about record-keeping requirements, and water quality testing off-site. Because maybe it's not running off, we don't, or leaching, we don't know. We'd like to find out for sure, before this problem gets worse. We're trying to nip this in the bud, because if this is allowed to continue, it's going to become, if it is leaching, it's going to become a serious problem. And if it's happening at this location, it's probably happening other places they're not aware of, because there's been no geological studies done on these sites.
As far as the geology part of this, KDHE looks at it, they want all wells that they can, within a half mile. Now, I've asked what the expectation of what they identify as a well would be, what is in their water well database. So all they gotta do is go on to the Kansas Geological Survey database, and then they look to see if there's a water well within a half mile of that area. And that's what the expectation.
Those are documented wells. There's a lot of wells throughout the entire state of Kansas that are not documented. I did a lot of work with groundwater management in southwest Kansas and found thousands of them around the municipals out there, so.
What it is, it's just wells that's been voluntary registered, and that's their expectation.
Right.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for your time and concern on this.
Thank you, Art.
And, I thank all you guys for coming in today too, and appreciate taking time.
Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to share with us before you leave?
Yeah, I personally saw the runoff from the Hodges place during that heavy rain on June 3rd. And it was coming, a tremendous amount of water was going over the terraces and coming out off that property in 2 places, plus a third place going into the fishing pond. And on one location where it's going across the road, it was going down across the field, and the other place is going down to the county grader ditch, going into Frog Creek.
Those terraces are ancient terraces, and they all dump in the road ditch. There's no water. On the east side, I guess there's a waterway, but the ones on the south, that dump on the south side and the west side, dump directly in the county road ditch. So that becomes a county issue too, if there's contamination on the county property. So, you guys have any other questions for us?
I got a letter that somebody gave to me that if it creates a public nuisance or affects public health, it can be shut down. Who makes that decision?
Since at this moment it's KDHE because they give the approval letter. I'm not saying we can't act, but that we would need to meet with Wade over that. But I mean,
Because I thought that day that when we requested you to come back up, and because we had no idea when Emery was here, why he was here. You guys remember that?
yeah.
To see what was going on.
This was the start because they just started with the Hodges side, got the land pump. That's why
That was the first.
that was the first part.
Yeah,
Right.
but I thought he's made it like, if it became such a nuisance, we had the ability to do that.
We need to talk that over with Wade.
Just to me, it sounds
Because,
like,
because Todd, everything so far has just been, point of contact was Carl, and then Carl made the contact with the state. I mean, that's
That's the way we've done it.
that's just the way we've done it.
And every time Emery and I, when we got a crucial issue, we talk about, like the flies, the latest one. I've been pushing the issue of then when does it become a public nuisance,
Right.
or a nuisance, I should say. Because in the solid waste law, it's not public nuisance, it's called a nuisance.
Part of the issue too is it's very difficult to make a formal complaint to KDHE. It's tough to find the form to do that, and I've submitted one last week about this issue we're discussing today about the potential leaching issue, and sent pictures and filled the application out. Emery did come out and visit. He got back with Carl and come out on site, but they never did respond to my email.
They may
And
not
that's-
have seen it yet either.
Well, that's very possible.
Do I know?
They may not have seen the complaint from yet, because Emery let me know that they was gonna do a spot check, and so I insisted that, shouldn't say insisted, I just said you need to stop and talk to Art and look at the rock quarry. And then I also suggested he said he was gonna do a spot check on the McNabb side, and suggested he stop and talk to Jordan and Pat.
And Emery was down last Thursday, and we had good
I was there though. I talked to him and he said that they were planning on doing something about reducing the ammonia concentration and reducing the amount.
So they made contact, I mean, the
I
days
just
they
happened
came.
to be there to pick up a grandchild and he came up and gave
So
me
they
a
did?
card.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he came by, but the wind was blowing 30 miles an hour, so the flies were not there.
But I was out there Monday evening and the flies were there, so
I guess that's where I was headed, is that if Emery did make contact, because I think you requested.
I requested it, he did.
Yeah.
And I visited with him last Thursday, and we drove around the pickup. Eldon and I and Emery did. We went around, looked at the rock quarry, looked at some of the sites, our concerns. I showed him the bean field with the water seep that's coming to the surface. And they are, I'm optimistically hopeful that maybe they are looking into some changes. The problem becomes, how long does it take to get through changes like this? And how much more of this stuff is going to occur? And how much more of a nuisance are we as citizens going to have to deal with before something changes?
Question, has anybody reached out to A1? What's their response to these nuisance things that are coming up?
It wasn't, I reached out to him after I saw the potential contamination issues, and it wasn't really good. I didn't get a warm, fuzzy response from it. I was trying to be neighborly and have a conversation with him, and it wasn't the same warm conversation in return.
Have you spoken with them, Carl?
Anytime I've had any type of complaint, like one night it was raining, I went up there, they texted me or let me know, and I went up and I also let them know that I was there. And when I go up and talk to their help, I also call them, and they've always been receptive to me. They've always, always got a comment, but I mean, that's to be expected if somebody's filing a complaint against you. I just chalk that up as part of it. They've treated me well.
And most of our conversation when I talked to Mr. McCoy was friendly and civil, and I suppose maybe you'd expect he wasn't excited to hear the complaint. But I think part of it, and I don't know if any of you guys have tried filing complaints, it's difficult to do. And you make a phone call, I've left messages and then never got, 6 weeks later, still don't have a response back. And I think that's been several people that have done that and never got a response back.
You're talking about
KDHE. Yeah. And I know they're busy, and I get that, but I feel like part of the trouble is they're hesitant to acknowledge there's a problem because it's perhaps a lack of oversight that's allowing this to occur. And where they don't have definite definitions as far as what is considered a nuisance, what is considered saturated ground, it leaves a lot of open interpretation. So there's no way to say you can't do this because of this. Well, it's open-ended. It's very vague.
I would think this would be a part of what their charter is about, health and environment, and I think this is impacting both of them.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be too busy not to respond to it.
They've always responded once one of them gets a hold of me, we communicate, then I take an active role in trying to get them, talk to KDHE about what they want to do or what they're going to do. And if I go out, I'm usually there ahead of them now, so if need be, I take pictures, and then that way I can transmit them to KDHE. Just like the pictures of worms, and when how I got their attention was that they hadn't seen anything like that, so they sent somebody down.
I think Eric's had a pretty good response from KDHE. He's made a lot of core requests and requested a lot of documents and emailed them back and forth. I think he's had pretty good luck with them. That I think as far as filing a complaint or calling about a complaint about an issue, and then part of the issue is too, they're in Topeka or maybe on the road traveling. So like the flies, for instance, if you're there that day, you see it. But the next day, if the wind is blowing, or the weather conditions are different, or the smell the same way, like yesterday driving by the rock quarry, I smelled that with the east wind smell, the smell coming off. They had a flight for 23 days. I hadn't noticed that smell for days. But unless you were there at that exact time, you're not going to notice it. They could come back today, wind's a different direction. Oh, it doesn't smell bad. So unless you're there at that exact time, these complaints are going to be hard to validate.
When he talks about the waste, it's like one day I noticed there's a gray stripe across the field, so I turned around, went back and talked to the hired hands. And what it was is they hadn't been able to apply for a couple of days, and they basically said they'd let it sit in a frac tank storage for 2 weeks. What it means is that what I call anaerobic, it was bacteria that's going to be something that's going to stink. When they applied it, it did have an odor to it. But they was incorporating it also as fast as they could, but it doesn't always get everything.
And then when they work the ground again, it stirs that stuff back up again, to bring it to the surface. And therefore the flies are going to be back in it again, and you see vultures and stuff like that. And you know, this whole public nuisance deal, I mean, clearly it's a nuisance to a lot of people. It's a concern to a lot of people. And I feel like we're not being taken seriously in Topeka. And I think that most of us really probably feel the same way. So that's why we're reaching out to you guys to help put some pressure on them, and maybe even go farther than that, and make sure this nuisance doesn't continue in the fashion it's continuing. So, I think that's all I have, unless you guys have any other questions.
I believe so.
That's a good art.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you guys again for your time.
No, thanks.
Eric, do you have anything else?
That was pretty short.
Yeah. So,
Did you have me on the schedule to talk?
yeah, did you want to talk?
Yeah, I'd say a few things.
Good.
Ready for me?
Yep.
I'm Eldon Thomas. I live right across the road from it. I think a lot of this deal is the guy needs to be a little proactive. And most of this stuff, maybe there's not any real scientific evidence yet, but it's just common sense. And I think he didn't do his homework before he bought the place. There's three areas where it's so seepy and wet that they can't farm it. Has been for years, as long as I can remember. I've lived there my whole life. And one of the things that the neighbors and I had a little meeting with him before they started, him and his wife, and it didn't go well. He was trying to tell us stuff, and as it has turned out, almost everything he said was not true. And his attitude was really bad. Charlie McCormick asked him a question, and he just was immediately hostile as he could be. And anyhow, we got to talking about...
Yeah, Charlie's pretty hard to talk to.
Yeah. So, anyhow, we got to talking, we was talking about the trucks and stuff. I guess he didn't know I'd had a trucking business for 47 years, and started asking him some questions about trucking and stuff. And he said, well, the cops don't bother me, we're private carriers. So that would mean, if he's doing it legal, they own this sludge, and it's sludge, it's not water. I think the state of Kansas even says that. When Emery was down here, he said he'd been talking to McCoy, and McCoy kept asking him, he said, well, don't represent it to be sludge. That sounds worse, but it is, so the state considers it. So that was one of the deals that I keep thinking about. Well, if it gets into having a lot of environmental problems, who owns it? Does he own it and getting paid? They giving him the product, or do they own it? Do the companies own it? And he's just being paid to get rid of it?
Landowners ultimately responsible. Landowners always ultimately responsible for what occurs on his land.
They are.
Yeah, ultimately.
And I think pretty much everything else, Art and Eric been doing all the legwork on it as far as the legal stuff. But I think most of it is just common sense that he should have been using a little more common sense that you don't want to have a waste dump area right next to a rock quarry, CP areas and everything. I think there was one deal that was asked how much it is getting. Now, I don't know exactly, I haven't keep track of the trucks exactly, but it looked like it's getting about 10 semi-loads a day in, which is probably 60,000 gallons a day.
They're using frac tanks for storage, and those are somewhere 20 or 21,000. So
For each tank. For each tank.
For each tank.
There's multiple tanks on each side.
Usually 4 is what on 2 Coffee County sites it's 4.
I observed a number of out-of-state trucks going by. He said when we first met there, he said, oh, just going to be his trucks, nobody else. Well, that didn't turn out to be true either. I noticed several times trucks went by my house, and I happened to be going out, and there was a little strip, wet black behind them. And apparently they're leaving their valves open to make sure they get everything out. I have not seen them stop, but Art and Brian have both seen them stop about a quarter of a mile away for a while on the road, assuming that they're getting out to shut the valves in before they go up the highway.
I've got pictures of they're pulling over on the side of the gravel road, you can see the semi tracks, so they're pulling over on the side of the road to stop.
And I'm sure it's just the truck driver that's responsible for that, but also the truck driver should be responsible to him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, anybody else ask any questions for me? I mean, and if it continues, it looks to me like the county needs to be prepared to lower the land value of all the neighbors around, because who's gonna buy a place right next to the dump deal? Impossible environmental problems and stuff.
I guess the landowner being responsible makes another good question then, so if the landowner is ultimately responsible for any pollution concerns in the future, does the landowner have the insurance or the means to cover if there is a pollution issue discovered down the road? As a county, I think that needs to be.
As far as what they found out, it's a holding company that owns the land now, an LLC, so that they could get out of liability real easy. Like
On that property by you.
Right.
Right.
Right, I think they got 4 or 5 different holding companies. So I think they've kind of been planning this all along. Just makes me think, well, he's got kind of a questionable character in the trucking business when I knew him years and years ago, and he's just going to use this and then just turn around and walk away from it.
Charlie, what kind of questions did you ask that caused you to get upset?
He stated that he was gonna put, your calcium chloride down all the roads, everybody's driveway, where the trucks went. And I told him he wasn't gonna do that, he wouldn't do that, it cost him too much. And he got upset about that.
His response was, this is my ground, there's nothing you can do about it. You didn't like it, you should have bought it on the auction yourself.
Yep.
Pretty much his exact words, wasn't it, Tara?
Yep.
And that's just kind of the attitude he's had, I think, is just thinking he can do whatever he wants, wherever. I think you guys, if you really get serious about it, you can probably have a cease and desist order put out, and you'll have to stop. Now, he has not put on anything for several weeks. I think we finally got his attention a little that we was serious about it. But I think you can do some things if you really want to. It might be temporary. I mean, I think it's probably just temporary that he stopped now. So, guess that's about all I got to say.
Thanks, Jonathan.
You bet.
I guess I just kind of like to reiterate then, as far as the responsibility of pollution, if there is a problem in the future, is as a commission, I think that needs to be decided as far as how do we plan for this? Who would be responsible? You know, is the landowner going to be able to cover this if there is a problem in the future? Would there need to be a bond requirement or something, just like there's on other decommissioning type projects, so that the county is protected, the citizens and the county itself, down the road in case there's a problem. I think that's all I've got anyway.
Emory had shared with me last week, there's 2 things that they're looking at. And what they're looking at doing is the KSU's publication, it's MF 2586. That's how they would determine the max amount of nitrate plus the money they could do in a year. And then the second thing they was talking about doing was proposing using what they call available water holding capacity to try to limit how much water they could actually apply to the soil that it could uptake in a year's time. Now that's what the 2 things that they're looking at for the future. So,
but my concern is even if they do limit it, if we get a heavy rain afterwards, are they only able to apply, dry times, so they can, with the saturation definition, or lack thereof, they could still put on the minimum amount when the ground is wet, and still have the same problems we have now, especially if it's followed by a rain. The bigger issue is the shallow soils, the characteristics of that particular location, soil types, close to bedrock, that type of thing. And so even if they were to apply somewhere else in the county, that doesn't necessarily mean the problem's going to go away. It's the whole issue is it's clearly a nuisance to a lot of people, and not just local people. I mean, it's going to, the truck traffic, they use the roads throughout the county. Flies, I mean, kids playing outside, stuff like that. So it's a public health concern as well.
Hey, Art.
Yeah.
One thing I was gonna say too, that time that we met with Emery, I thought Emery seemed like he was pretty knowledgeable. He told us that he previously worked for the NRCS, and he's familiar with the geological stuff, and he seemed to pay attention to that. Had a good personality and stuff, but he kind of struck me as somebody that is good to talk to and stuff, but as far as actually doing anything, he probably wouldn't have guts enough to do anything. The other thing that I noticed, and this is just my opinion, I think him and McCoy have a relationship that is not, where he is not very objective, that he is more than not being real professional about it, that he thinks McCoy is doing a real good job on things, and he's kind of overlooking some of the stuff.
Emery's knowledge is intact. It's political, it's about the politics of the moment. We judge what they'll do or not do in a particular situation. That is my opinion, but Emery's knowledge is handy. He knows what he's doing.
He's had a lot of good experience in RCS in the past, and I guess another concern would be as far as like on terraces and stuff like that. In the regulations, it says that you have to stay back with 100 feet from drainage swells. They don't consider a terrace a drainage swell. The definitions are similar. Terraces are man-made, but they still direct water. They direct runoff water. And so there's no limit to applying near terraces. So if you do get a heavy rainfall event, like I showed this picture of the water standing in the terrace channel, the water's going to congregate down the terrace channel and run off. But there's no limitations on applying near terraces. The KDHE does not consider, from my understanding, KDHE does not consider a terrace the same thing as a drainage swell.
Right. My concern was that taking up the KDHE is what I refer to as surface water quality standards, because you're accumulating that, and then once you have that rainfall event, then that collects it and then pushes it in one direction. And so then that was one of the concerns I voiced to him, and then that they do drive over it with with their application equipment, the terraces. And so the terraces don't hold the water that they used to, because the terrace is designed to hold a certain amount of water and then also settle the solids out is the purpose of it. Well, they've driven over them enough now that they're flattened out. And so would they work as designed? And to me, that goes back to, if they're not working like they're designed, is there a danger to the surface water quality?
In that
Those questions have been posed.
In that last big 6-inch rain we had, those terraces broke over in multiple spots. And a lot of terraces did a lot of field. That was a common occurrence, breaking over terraces. But those terraces, they're short. They're flat. And therefore, again, you have the terraces directing the stuff supposedly to the road ditches. Well, when they break over, a lot of them runs into the fishing pond or directly down into the draw from Jared Basil's reservoir.
Terraces aren't taken care of like they once, but my concern is the 6,500-gallon wagon they use to take the wastewater back out. That's a lot of compaction.
The terraces are used for haul roads.
Yeah, the big tractors, yeah. And they don't take the rigs out on the roads usually. They do it all across the crop ground. They make them on their own roads.
Well, thanks again, guys. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And thank everybody for coming out in support of this. Oh, yes, please.
Any questions?
I invited you guys to come out, you commissioners to come out on site, drive by, take a look at that.
Yeah, please come out to our house.
I've been out there several
We'll have a
times.
picnic outside, it's great.
Y'all even make good
Watermelon.
Good time.
But some days it's not so bad, other days it's pretty full.
And I've been out on that site several times.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with him.
Yeah.
But just to let you know, on every time that I am, I do contact Carl and he contacts.
Thank you guys
the
for
state
coming in.
highway.
Appreciate it.
I know. Carl's fabulous.
No, no, he does a
He
great
does a
job.
great job. And hopefully we can get some KDHE to tighten a few things up too, but yeah, something needs to be done anyway.
Right.
Thanks, Art.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Nobody's looking for anything.
Right.
That I know.
But like, application next to it. I think.
Well, the city
Right.
needs setback.
Exactly.
The meeting setback.
Right.
So.
Right. I think it's just entirely.
Then, we need to ask anybody's question.
Supposedly,
You get questions if you've ever.
the analysis on it is pretty big.
Well, I think that's true.
What's the analysis per ton? Because hog about 14.6
Yeah.
That's not being denied.
And just out of principle, why should we have to do this? Right, right. Well,
I don't know whether Art wanted that back or.
Oh, I can go give it to him.
yeah.
Okay, that's why they got
All that stuff.
Thank you, you brought that. Did you want that back?
yes, thank you.
You know, they're permanent. Doesn't have a time limit on it.
By going through Carl, we have direct lines to the state, so.
I think
Everything's being done.
Emory said, well,
I say
Every year that I do, right?
I was just gonna ask you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. We'll take a 5-minute break and be back at, 12:41.
He waited on you to walk in.
Imagine that.
You okay?
It might be.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay. County Council Wade H. Bowie, Law Enforcement Center Pay Application 20, and change orders 43 and 44.
Do you need this? Yeah, give this to you.
No.
Excuse me?
I said more junk in front of you.
This one will be, and this one will be.
Looks like that's house for the housing improvement. Steady cut green sheet too.
And then this one goes with that. Yeah. All the village will go into this one.
You don't gotta sign that one.
Okay.
You can if you want.
No, I will, yeah.
We'll get you through the day.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite time of month. Yes, sir.
Thought he'd never get here.
Yeah, this is something.
Cause
Surprise.
right?
It is. So this is pay app number 20. This is for the period ending June 30th. The total request outside of the retainage is $615,149.40. This will cover what happened in that month. So since we've done this a few times, I've not gone through and wrote out everything the same way that I've done for probably the first 15. Other than to highlight who the applicant is, what their amount is, and what application number it is for them. There's some cross-reference to their change orders, that cross-reference to the county change orders, and the two don't need to be confused. But I have a reference there, so if you want to go back and see, and then I have the master sheet where you can put them together, and you can go back, and it'll tie to whoever the subcontractor is and what the county change order number is and what it was for, so if you need to know that. So, first applicant within the main application is Concrete Unlimited. Their total due $31,232.70. It's their pay application number 12. And that was for site work as well as at the very bottom, and this is a perfect example. Their change order number 4 and 5 for 2 different amounts, but that is county change order number 29 and 41 that have been previously approved, if that makes sense. And for example, 29 ties to the south additional parking, which has already been before you and been approved. So the total 34,703. Next one, IBC Carpentry, their pay app number 16, their total 86,844.60. And that ties to each of these highlighted areas, 10,000 toilet partitions, exterior joints, signage materials, evidence lockers, evidence locker materials. And if you've taken the tour of the jail, a lot of that now comes to life and makes a whole lot more sense, or it should. And then those, at the very end for IBC, is their change order number 10, 11, and 12 that corresponds with county change order number 38, 39, and 41. And then the total prior to retainage was 96,493.99. DH Restoration, their payout number 9. Current amount due $7,132.54. And that ties to the sealants, security sealants, joint sealants. And then their change order number 1 for $357.05, which relates back to county change order number 1, which was posted addendum number 4, or whatever it was called. Sourd Glass, payout number 8, $12,262.49. I think it's pretty self-explanatory with the glass at the facility, some of what they've done in the last month. The total $13,624.99. Higgins, payout number 12, total of $13,841.84. That highlight was me getting ahead of myself. Their change order number 3, and it's broken down twice because it's 2 different amounts, and then change order number 4, 5, and 6, which corresponds to change order 3, county change order number 32, for their change order number 4, county change order number 33, their change order number 5, 38, change order 6, our county 39. And the total $15,379.83. Any questions so far?
What was there 2 on that last one there? I mean, we got 32 here, 625.
Yep.
And you had 32.
So there were 2 different amounts that were tied to that same change order, and we asked Cole when we were going through this, and for whatever reason, he broke it down twice because it was two separate items, but the total on the sheet for 32 was 15,1635, which is what those 2 together matches up to. Pay app number 5 for Always Faithful Painting, $21,094.50. The way that he, Always Faithful, tie things together, it doesn't flow exactly like the others. As you can see, he has all zeros for all of his costs. I'm trying to remember you remember what this one was about, Tom? The change order or what? No, this is Always Faithful, the $21,994.50.
They said to come back and paint, they hadn't finished all the painting, they had to come back and paint Sally Port, and I think that's just their second round of coming back to get all the painting done.
Did some commercial flooring, payout number 6, $4,147.20. Their change order number 2, which was county change order number 12, was the lion's share of that. Poly Jail, this is the lowest figure for Poly Jail since probably consulting started. Pay app number 18, $41,809.50. Detention furniture and equipment, security mesh installation, continuing on to the next page, the equipment rental and storage, travel, management, and then general conditions gets you to the 4410 total. Conley Sprinklers, pay app number 9, total of $13,051.94. Labor, and if you've been in the facility, you know the sprinkler system is pretty comprehensive for a building that size. Sprinkler heads and whatnot everywhere. McElroy's, pay app number 16, $218,170.80. A lot of different things tied to this particular pay app and request. For the last month, getting everything finalized for the transition. So you have a lot of these boxes that are checked here: plumbing, sheet metal, HVAC, controls, insulation, you name it, it's pretty much added in that. And the final total, $242,412 before retainage. Shelley Electric, pay app number 16, $70,902.13. A number of different items included in that. They're still over there dealing with outlets and adding and running power to different places. Should be there this week, right? I haven't seen them, I haven't been over there. So down here at the bottom you have PR 16 and 21, change order 10 and PR 14, change order 11. That's their numbering and their acronyms, but those amounts tie to county change order 26, 31, and 34 respectively, and then on the next page, continuing change order 35 and 39. So once you figure out their change orders don't match up with our change orders and we have a way to track it, it makes a whole lot more sense. But if we were just looking at that, we'd sit here for I'd sit here for 25 minutes trying to figure out what happened where the numbers don't match up. Total of $780.14 before retainage. Skillman, pay app number 10, $8,212.50. That was tied to work for their change order number 1 and 2, our change orders number 29 and 41. And 41, for example, trench drain and raised seals was part of that. That included the work that Stillman did for the trench drain mainly. And then 29, south additional parking. So that's the end of pay app number 20. Are there any questions?
What's left in the contingency? Can you tell?
So after we're going to do change order 43 and 44, at the end of 44, construction contingency remaining will be 110,002 and 82 cents.
Okay, thanks. And that's after that last, 110,000.
Yep, and we're getting ready to go over 43 and 44. So, I don't know if you want to do a motion or wait, break it up, or do it all at one time.
We'll just do them at the end if that suits everybody, or whatever we need to do.
Move right into change order number 43.
Don't we all?
We do.
Well, that's why I stopped. So here's change order 43. It was revised. It originally came in and it was actually higher. And Tom and I went back and removed some things from what the request was, and it was adding some data and electrical at different locations. But quite a few still needed to be added as well. So change order 43 revised is what this is. The total 15,413, and that's adding additional data and power outlets and administrative error after the owner walkthrough. You have any?
Exactly what it says, stuff needs to be moved, additional ports need to be put in, and we told them they needed to be put in, and that's the cost.
So there's a diagram here. This doesn't include the diagram. This also includes the power down the middle in the control room.
Yeah.
Which is what that should be, what that is, right?
Well, something like that, that's showing just a strip laying on the table there, that they're plugging stuff into that even more. So we have that big center aisle in the control office. We have body cam chargers, cell phone chargers, not cell phone, radio chargers, all this equipment, and not enough outlets.
Yeah, and you
So,
talked with this.
so we want to use that area as someplace to put our printer, to get it off of desks. And so I needed that tree coming down out of the ceiling that they could mount on the center of that deal. It has multiple data ports and outlets to plug stuff in. And that was one of the things we said, some of the rooms that got put into, I'll be totally honest. Folks, I'm not running an extension cord in a $25.7 million building. An outlet needs to be put here, you know, that was horrendous. They have a $25 million building, then you run extension cords across the room to plug a printer in. So some of this stuff just needs to be done both in Wade's office and the rest of the building, and that's what it is.
So that was the end of that change order 43 revised. Now we also have change order number 44 revised. I don't remember why it was revised.
Are they gonna help with any of those change orders with their electrical engineers? They don't have a reason why we need electrical plug-ins every now and then.
They're not gonna help us, believe me. They're gonna eat the cost or nothing. They designed it that way, and
They're educated to know that.
we're in the wrong line of business.
Change order number 44 revised covers several internal potential change orders, 52, 72, 79, and 80. 52 added metal cover plates on the interior walls, right?
So if you remember a long time ago, guys, when they had the cutouts, or the bump outs on the west side, back there where the holding cells were, they had to cut block because there's those studs back through there and the steel beams. So they cut the CMU block and kind of set it over the edge of the beams. That's the way they had to do it. Well, when you did that, then that left an opening, big enough you could stick your hand back behind. And there was no way to caulk that, even with security caulking, it was going to be safe and secure. So it was our agreement that they cover that with stainless steel and then bolt that into the block. That's what part of that is.
And if you didn't do that, what was the concern?
Well, the concern is, again, that you've got an opening back there that inmates can stick their hand by and just constantly mess with, or, start shaking stuff and making, block fall apart. It had to be covered. And that's the easiest way to do it was put stainless steel over it and bolt it into the walls.
Now let's talk about long time ago.
Yeah.
Actually, after that brick was put up.
Yes, sir. That's been a long ago. They're just now billing for it.
Potential change order 72 for added wiring for variable flow dampers. Reworking wire to the VFD for the kitchen hood per RFI 169, reworking wiring to the boiler pump for RFI 169. That's what this potential change order ties to in that amount. And so here was the request that tied to this particular change order. Kitchen hood has a VFD on the roof per EF schedule, and the kitchen hood came with an internal VFD. The VFD schedule calls for both boiler pump and VFD, but per the rep, the VFDs are not required. How would you like these items to be wired to function properly? And then there's the response. Do you have any addition to that?
When they set up the hood, they could have done some things to get around shortcut. And I told them the kitchen exhaust tube is not something I want to shortcut because of the fire hazard. So they wired up what was supposed to be wired, and that's the way it's coming up extra.
TCO 79. This ties to steel cover plates on gap between stair, stringer, and wall. You can probably.
So there was one stairway going up to a mezzanine, on a mezzanine stairway that had a gap on the inside that was a perfect place for an inmate to stick something behind and hold. It had the way it was designed, it's kind of like a channel beam or whatever that the mezzanine went up. And I wanted that covered. That needed to have a cover put on a welded plate or something on it so an inmate could put something in there, hold something there, whatever it may be, due to a safety issue. And so the only thing to do was put metal on there. So that's what they did.
Then the last one within this change order, PCO 80, dealt with furnishing and installing a fire extinguisher cabinet at level 2 south elevator.
And some state fire marshal said we had to have, so we had to have it put in.
And that's the end of the change orders.
Anybody have any questions for him? Ready for the motion? We have a motion to approve the application and certificate for payment, application number 20 for period ending 6/30/2025, submitted by River City Construction LLC in the amount of $615,149.40 for work completed, reference to Coffee County Law Enforcement Center project, funds to come from the Jail Construction Project Fund 111.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved by McCurry, seconded by Barker. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Motion for the board to approve and for the chairman to sign the following change orders regarding construction related to Coffee County Law Enforcement Center as approved by River City Construction. Change order number 43, with costs associated with potential change order PCO number 074 associated with adding additional data and outlets and administration area after owner walkthrough. Deduct $15,413, with the $15,413 to be deducted from the project construction contingency. I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, hold on a second. I think both of those were together in the motion. Change order 43 and,
Oh,
are you doing them separate?
Well,
Okay,
I just
I need to say,
read,
okay, who moved on that?
I moved and McCurry seconded, I believe, wasn't it?
yes.
And it's two different things on our sheet and on your screen. So,
If you flip on the back, they're actually all in one, just covering the change orders, just so the last part of it doesn't have to be mentioned twice. But either way, it's fine.
so what do I need to do? Just read the balance of it and then we'll make another motion?
Yep.
Change order number 44, what's the REP stand for?
Revised.
Revised, with cost associated with potential change order number 52, associated with adding metal cover plates on CMU where building columns are located, deduct $17,044. Potential change order number 72, associated with adding wiring for variable flow dampers, deduct $1,061. Potential change order number 79, associated with adding closure plate at the mezzanine stair and Pod B, deduct $915. And potential change order number 80, associated with adding fire extinguisher cabinet per elevator inspection, deduct $567, with $19,587 to be deducted from the project contingency, with no change to the project guaranteed maximum price of $25,712,885.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by McCurry and seconded by Peterson. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Is that it? And I guess. I'm not disappointed.
Off to the comprehensive plan meeting. See y'all later.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. So, do I have to pass these around, or?
No.
These are,
These are, oh, these are my copies.
okay, okay.
I think they were extras.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, actually, these are for the two, for the fire district, and those are for the fire district.
Before I walk off with these are what you need to sign.
Okay.
They can be sent to
Oh,
River City.
Yeah. Oh, wait, your signature.
Oh, okay, okay.
You just want email on the code.
Yeah. I mean, write it up and whether it's adjustments and pay or.
So, those are taken care of because they're part of the.
Oh, they just need to email. Okay, all right.
You had some for us, sir?
No, nothing else. I just want to make sure there wasn't any other questions before I step out. Concern earlier with the industrial waste.
And what can we do?
There's a nuisance law in which we have, but we would need to make sure and talk with Wade to see what we could do with it.
Right.
There's some avenues within that.
But
But it would basically be, we would be writing a letter strongly encouraging KDHE to be proactive in this matter.
And that was my question, is could a draft be, between you and Wade, drafted to,
Carl and I will meet and then.
okay.
We'll get back with you next
Okay,
week.
that's,
Strongest terms to be proactive, where we can get something done, because there's quite a bit of going around that things are bouncing back and forth. Between us, KDHE, the commission, this needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
We can lean on them heavily.
Okay.
Maybe you could educate them a little bit up there about what they're getting.
We've had several conversations. We're to introduce everything I've learned.
Right, right, well, you know, I mean, kind of the way I recall to begin with was, we were said, it's kind of left up to KDHE, it's under an ag exemption.
Right. Well,
and we were kind of out of.
They're the one who writes the approval letter and looks over it. We need to talk more about the nuisance law and what we can and can't do within it.
Right. I mean, obviously, I think we all want to help them with the issue.
Wade and I need just to have a catch-up session.
We just need to, we're gonna meet.
Very good.
Whatever we can do to help Carl with his interaction with KDHE.
Overall, KDHE has been, I've had good interactions with them. It's trying to get everything on the same page too.
Okay.
It's complex. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So, Angie, do we have some stuff we need to go over for the budget, or?
Yeah,
What do we need to do next?
all I need to know is, we've made the changes. I gave you guys a copy, sent that out to you so you could see what the mill levy will be now. And I just need a thumbs up to let Emily know this is it until the hearing. Unless you wanna make more cuts somewhere.
I'll see what.
I don't think we need more cuts, we're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, me too.
I talked with her the other day on that. I was shooting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
54 mil,
Because
Yeah, 54.612.
it's 612,
Yeah.
because in order to carry more, you have to do another 400,000.
you're gonna have to start cutting services.
Yeah,
if you need
I'm not
any deeper.
comfortable with that. That's me.
Where were we at last year?
55.781.
What's your valuation so far?
Valuation went up on
Utilities.
housing.
And utilities, yeah.
Yeah, and utilities. That was a plus. Utilities, 32 million or something, wasn't it, on their valuation or something? I think it
Don't we
was.
have that industrial park tax up there? As far as property taxes?
Yeah.
They're using it as a dump facilities, it's still taxed agricultural.
Right now, they're raising the agriculture.
Right now, you mean, right now, it's agriculture.
Just ag, I imagine. I'm kidding.
Imagine you're right.
Yeah. So,
So, if you guys are good,
yeah,
that's what it will be now.
got a head nod on it, looks like, everybody.
I mean, you're not going to probably reach the revenue neutral rate.
Yeah, I just don't see how we can.
Big drop, I mean, it was a big drop.
Yeah.
We started at, what, 63 almost, 63.
Yeah. So,
And then, so if you're all good with that, I'll let Emily know, that's where we're gonna stick to it.
okay.
Then the only other question I have is, Western Consultants is the group that is doing the, applying for the CDBG grant for SSM.
The road.
Road out here. And so we have 2 invoices from them that need to be paid, and we've been paying for that out of economic development. The last one we did. We can't pay out of SSM construction because that's not technically our money. So do you want to go ahead and pay these other 2 invoices and see about, what do we do about that?
And what's that on, Lindsay?
SSM,
Okay.
the road, and applying for those grants. So it'd be about $5,400. Do you want that to be paid out of economic development, ask Jenny to take it out of hers, or do you want to pay it from somewhere else?
She's got the budget. She's got the budget to take care of that.
Talking about her fund, what is it, 114?
Yeah.
What's in there?
How much was it, Angie?
It's roughly 5,400.
But
3 pieces.
332.
Oh, it's in my book. That's that.
It makes sense to take it out of that fund.
we're halfway through the year and there's still quite a bit there, but.
If we just,
That sounds fine to me, but it suits everybody else.
yeah, that's.
Okay, I'll get with her.
5,400, you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's all I have.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything today, just run the circle this way.
This way?
Yeah, you're up, buddy.
I'm up. I don't have anything. I just want to give, solid waste. I think last week was pretty short-handed. And I think they reached out to, Mr. Bowie and Ryan Durst. I think Ryan, lent them 3 summer helps. What the deal was that they had curbside pickup here in Burlington, and there were roughly 400 pickups. And they were down 3 employees out there because of sickness or something going on. Anyway, Ryan furnished 3 summer help from his office, and then out of Wade, I think Barb Nelson was involved, and then Sheila Swank. They all went out and spent the day helping
Run routes?
run routes.
And this is for recycling.
Recycling. I think there were 400, roughly 400 plus here in Burlington is where they were going. And I just wanted to shout out to those departments that they really helped that group out. I think I'm telling that right, or Wade. I mean, that's Barb. And then Barb ended up going back out and helping unload trucks too once they got back in. So they put in a full day, I believe. So I thought that was really great that the departments kind of got together and helped each other. So thanks everybody that was involved. And that's all. And that's all I've got.
Boys got the sun block windows tinted down in the lobby last Thursday. He's going to redo the panel on the right side of the door. It didn't turn out real favorable. It's got a bunch of air pockets. So he's supposed to be here this Thursday night to redo it. And then I thought I'd ask and see what you guys' thoughts on tinting the rest of it down the corridor to make it all match from the outside. I know the boys down there said it's really taken a lot of heat glare out of those windows. Made a big difference in their temperature-wise. But I visited with Luke a little bit, asked him to at least put a bid together so we can consider it.
I think it'll be okay. See what it costs.
See what it cost.
Save us on air conditioning.
Other than that, have we heard anything back from the Bailey house where we wanted to redefine our boundary lines for that house?
I haven't heard anything.
Have you heard when we're gonna start on the Marine Bell?
He was supposed to have been there last week. I never heard a word from him.
He's parked up on top.
He's on my agenda today when I get out of here.
Sweet.
So.
I put 250
Quit. That's all I got. Did tour the jail last week, obviously, with the minimal problems. I was there too.
I left before that happened, so.
Stop. Yeah. I don't know how many people it had, but there was quite a few tours first night, so.
How did Saturday go? I forgot to ask Tom.
My understanding there was, between the 2 days, we're guessing somewhere between 500 and 600 people
Oh, wow.
came to tour.
Good.
We were steady all day on Saturday. Starting at 9, we anticipated people would be spending time doing other things than coming to visit and tour the kind of good, because it's about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on who your tour guide was. And
Some tour guides were over 2 hours.
Well,
And I Tom, I did have a meeting with Wade last Friday in here about phase 2.
Yes.
We discussed that, and we're gonna try to work on that a bit. I think there's one scheduled for this Friday, if I remember right, tentatively.
correct.
So we're gonna try to cut some costs and see what we can do with that.
Okay.
I have nothing additional. Inviting you guys all up. You want to see the first comprehensive town hall meeting? We're doing it in Lebo tonight at 6 in the community building. I'll be there. You guys want to come up?
I've got a parade to go to now.
Priorities. I'm going to the parade as well. Well, when you're done with the parade. That's all I've got.
Okay.
I hope there's a good turnout.
I think there's going to be.
Good.
Good.
There's 3 of those this week, aren't there?
4.
4. 4, and then 2
Ridley on
next
the,
week.
yeah, Ridley on the 15th, Leroy on the 16th, and Eustron on the 17th. All at 6 p.m.
All at 6 p.m., right?
Yep.
And those are all in community buildings.
Mr. Bowie? You got 30 minutes.
I know.
I'm just While they're passing that around, I would like to thank everybody for all your comments and prayers. My wife's surgery went as well as could be expected, and she's home and doing well. So thank you all. We've had a lot of outreach from a lot of people. Really appreciate it.
I'm glad Cece's doing okay.
Me too.
Was there enough of the first one to go around? Table of organization?
Yeah.
Then I've got the original.
Okay.
So what I handed out was, been sort of meaning to do this for a while, but it's a table of organization within the county attorney's office. Historically, there's only been the generic intern position, and really needed to revise that and add a legal intern, because somebody who's in law school has advanced beyond just the intern level, and that's not to take away from the interns, but because they have a very valuable spot in the office. Once you get into law school, especially once you have your temporary license, you can do a whole lot more. In fact, you can be in the courtroom and actually handle cases and do things under the supervision and direction of a licensed attorney. So this just catches things up. I've only handed you legal intern 1. I have legal intern 2. I have legal intern 1, and I have intern to show you as well, but I'm not going to do that for today. So with that being said, I also have several different motions. And I apologize to Angie in advance because I did not send this to her. I printed it and then walk it back and forth between the buildings. I can't just go across the hall and shoot the email as simple as I used to be able to.
Get an extra copy, Wade.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh.
You want this one? So what I'm gonna pass around to the chairman, it's actually a revised payroll notice. And it takes into consideration Cale Johnson, who's currently in the office, but getting him in the right slot that he should have been from the beginning. He does have his temporary license. He does fit the criteria for legal intern too. I'd ask you to consider approving the request for the table of organization to change, which would then add the positions of legal intern 1, legal intern 2 within the county attorney's office, to change the table of organization within the county attorney's office, which reflects those positions. Approve the job description and classification for legal intern 2, and I'll come back and deal with legal intern 1 later, and then authorize the chairman to sign the revised payroll notice for Cale Johnson, who's currently serving basically as a legal intern 2. As you've heard previously, we're in the courtroom more now than we ever have been, especially with at times 4 days a week. The legal intern 2 would be able to handle some of the mainly traffic matters and misdemeanor matters, having him prepare for and actually handle cases on Wednesday mornings, from reviewing the cases, putting together offers, preparing the cases for court, and handling the cases in the courtroom with defense counsel and interacting with them. He also handled a felony preliminary hearing in court last Wednesday afternoon. And the best kind of experience, in my opinion, is hands-on experience, and that's what he's getting. A little later this summer, he'll be helping with some, actually second chairing some jury trials that are currently scheduled that are going to require a lot of time and effort. So, I don't know if you have any questions. It's been something that I've wanted to do for some time, and this catches it up.
What kind of time frame is there with the position? What kind of duration?
So, currently where what I'm requesting is for the summer, then it will transition into, for the same legal intern 2, for in August to the Third Year Anywhere program. And if you haven't, I think I've mentioned the Third Year Anywhere program. Third Year Anywhere program is a program that Washburn Law School offers, where for your third year of law school, you have a certain number of hours that you're required to take in the classroom, but the remainder can be with a law firm or a prosecutor's office or something like that. And for that entire last year, you get to actually go out into the field and actually practice law. Something new that I don't know how many law schools are doing it, but Washburn started doing it several years ago. Cale sent a message to me sometime, it had to be a year ago, and said he wanted to apply and wanted to, if he could, do his third year here in Coffee County. I know I had to put a bunch of paperwork together and then send it to him. It had to go through the dean or whoever's running that program at the law school to see if it met the criteria. And then it wasn't until January that he found out whether it was approved or not. So the idea would be, starting in August, he will be here up to 20 hours a week up until he graduates from law school. And then after that, he obviously has to prepare for the bar exam. But in that time period, he can serve in the similar capacity that he would be serving now. His step would be backed off because he's getting class credit, but the paperwork sent from the law school that I reviewed, and if you look at it online, it does highly recommend, in fact, it may be a requirement that you pay the person who's going to be doing your third year anywhere, because they are, in essence, practicing law under the direction of whoever the supervisor is. So I also had to fill out paperwork that went to the attorney registration for Kansas, and to get that temporary license, I had to agree to supervise and be responsible for Kale, similar to the law student that was here last year as well. And if you were part of any of the tours, one of the things that I was a part of when I was in undergrad and in law school, and then that I've done since then, is I've always been a huge advocate and support of interns and internship programs, because that is something that's dearly needed, and not only in the attorney sector, but for this, if Jenny, for example, had an intern who could come in and learn about economic development, I think that's a huge need, and there's other places in the county government structure. But attorneys, as you know, I'm probably one of 5 in the entire county, the only one that's practicing criminal law, and that means that the court-appointed attorneys who are involved in all the cases, or any attorney who's retained in any of the criminal cases or traffic or whatever they are all from outside Coffee County. Ottawa, Osage County, Topeka, Emporia, Anderson County, Allen County, Neosho County, from everywhere but Coffee County. And I want to do my part to try to encourage people to see what Coffee County has to offer, like these two are doing. I mean, they're here, they're getting first-hand experience of being in the courtroom, being in the commission room. I've also had to do some things that are probably not so fun, like scan and shred, but to me that's part of that's the rite of passage to get there. So that's my pitch and my spiel.
Okay. Are you ready?
Any questions, anything?
Any comments about that? We talked about it before briefly.
So the legal intern 1 and legal intern 2, the 2 would be a step above, is that correct?
Legal intern 2, you have to have your temporary license
Okay.
to actually handle cases in the courtroom. So legal intern 1 will be somebody who's in law school but has not yet achieved that. So it would really only fit and qualify for somebody who's between year 1 and year 2, or year 2 and year 3 that doesn't have their temporary license.
With the ones that would be doing the temporary license part on that, is that gonna be like calendar-wise, a full job, or are they gonna get breaks with their sponsoring school, takes, fall break?
Yeah.
They'll be working for you during that time. I just don't wanna see all of a sudden, oh, by the way, I'm going on Christmas break, see you later, spring break.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss that. I think that will be built in, because they will technically, since they'll be taking a class load too, they'll have finals and different things they'll have to prepare for. Now, it won't be a full caseload per se, but if you've gone to law school and taken any of those classes, you have typically have one exam for the entire semester, and it's about 3 to 4 hours long, so you have to have the time to prepare and be ready for that exam. But you bring up a good point. I don't think it'll be an issue.
Okay. I guess I'll make a motion upon the recommendation of the county attorney to approve and direct the chairman to approve the creation of the new positions of legal intern 1 and 2 within the Coffee County Attorney's Office. Parker has seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion upon the recommendation of the county attorney to approve and direct the chairman to approve a revision and addition to the Coffee County position and classification chart within the table of organization for the county attorney's office for the new positions of legal intern 1 and legal intern 2.
Was that a motion or?
I'll just ask for a motion.
Oh, I'll make that motion.
Second. Moved by McCurry, seconded by Abendroth. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Motion upon the recommendation of the county attorney to approve and direct the chairman to approve the job description and classification for the county attorney's office for the position of legal intern 2, pay grade 45, steps 1 through 5.
So moved.
Parker's moved.
Second.
McCurry seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the revised Coffee County payroll notice for Cale Johnson, County Attorney's Office, revised to legal intern 2, 45-5, wage $25.68, effective retroactive to June 16th, 2025. I'll move.
Second.
Thompson's moved, seconded by Abendroth. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Do we have anything else?
We got the table of organization for him to sign and job.
I've got it for you. Pardon me?
It's not the job.
Do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else for today.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll adjourn at 1:46.
Angie, we don't have a special day we're coming in to sign vouchers this month.
28.
The 28th.
You saw, okay, it's 3 for that.